in between each other because by now everybody knows Jack Kaggleon is a big leaguer. Official this morning, by the way, as the Royals sent down Dyron Blanco and called up Jack Kaggleon. More than anything, the initial reaction is, hell yeah, Kags is up. Time to go watch him hit the ball 700 feet to freedom. And you got to see him in Omaha barely by the skin of your teeth.
Just in time.
Only covered it by a week in Double-A. So it's just like, feels like the timing has been very good for you and for us as a show. But more than anything, I'm just excited Kags is up.
Yeah, man.
Been waiting for this debut pretty much since the beginning of this year.
Yeah, we've been on Jack Watch for months at this point in time. And we all know he has delivered at every level to this point in time. Not to mention,
that shirt aged like milk.
Yeah, so if for those aren't, real quick. So
I know, it's okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about Omaha a little bit later on the show. I was in Omaha with Dusty this weekend, and these shirts, they had just printed, they were selling out of these shirts. It's like the jersey thing, right? The CAG jerseys. Poor Omaha, they only got like 4 days of selling them, and then now, I guess
it turns into a massive big leaguer. They'll keep selling like Bobby Witt Jr. ones sometimes,
But, we can talk about that. But no, look, we can get into the Royals angle as far as the big league club, like why now and everything like that. But for Kags, this guy was drafted last July, and here we are June 2nd, and tomorrow, June 3rd, he'll be a big leaguer. That's for all the talk about they're waiting too long or not waiting too long, what's going on, like this was an extremely fast track, and he did everything to force the issue. I think what has gone on with the big league club also has forced the issue on top of it. This is going to be a really cool moment at the K next week when he makes his debut in front of a home crowd. And I know we've gotten texts and tweets from a lot of you guys in the last, 14 hours now or whatever at this point in time. And there's some of you that are going to make the trip to St. Louis tomorrow night. And hopefully, as much as Cardinals fans sometimes make the K look red, hopefully Royals fans can make New Busch Stadium there we'll have plenty of blue tomorrow for his debut. So Kags hears everybody. So it's been awesome. I mean, the expectation, of course, for Kags is off the charts, absolutely off the charts.
Yeah, Barry Bonds' record seems in sight.
Yeah, I figure, eventually 5-time MVP, just crazy stuff. Where everybody has set the bar for him. But it's cool to be able to talk about this, and you sense the excitement, especially after a day and a weekend against the Tigers that left you even more frustrated with a couple 1-0 games. The pitching staff continues to be incredible, and yet we know they just don't have enough offense. But for Kags to make his debut, you mentioned a stat, I don't know who you saw it from, Cody, about making a debut this quickly.
He's the first guy to be drafted and inside of a full calendar year, so less than 365 days later when he makes his debut tomorrow. He'll be the only other Royals player ever to be drafted and then make his major league debut inside of a year was one Bo Jackson. What a fitting player, by the way. The person whose bat crack sounded different than every other player on the planet, Jack Kaggleon. That seems like the fitting player, I would say, outside of it. And so, the excitement is warranted. I mean, look, we've been excited as a show. We've made that very clear. That's why we did the Cody and Gold road trip. That's why if I could convince 250 fans to wear CAG shirts out to, if everybody who went on the road trip would just go join us and we could get ourselves out to St. Louis tomorrow, I'd do that too. And I'm not even saying we're not trying to get ourselves to St. Louis
tomorrow. Things are in motion, yeah.
I can assure you we are. You know this show well enough by now that I'd love to be wearing that CAG shirt sitting behind home plate tomorrow. If it all works out, we will certainly make an effort. I got to be honest, calls like that to the wife, you're like, hey,
this is where
would it be cool? Single and unattached. This is a great, no kids. That's a great time.
I would say, Cody, the last 3 to 4 days is a reminder of where the flexibility you have being single is incredible. Dusty and I were able to go to Omaha, no big deal, and trying to figure out how we can do this show from St. Louis tomorrow. For me, it's like, well, yeah, I'll be there. Cody's like, well, I gotta
have to make calls and check schedules and
it's
see
a lot easier.
What dance looks like this week.
Yeah, someone says the Bo Jackson stat can't be true because Brandon Finnegan obviously made his debut in the same year he was drafted, 2 months after he was drafted.
Oh, maybe it was just position player, I guess is what it was. I apologize.
So it makes more sense because Finnegan was in the World Series.
You're right. Position player. I apologize. That was a little off, but still, we don't get these moments like debuts like this always stand out because. I know that we just had one with Bobby, but because Bobby's was opening day, it always feels a little bit different, doesn't it, Gold? Like the energy feels a little bit different coming into it because you're like, oh, I'm coming into a just like a regular opening day that already has its normal buzz. And we knew Bobby Wood Jr. was going to be a star, but like it felt slightly different. Mid-season debuts for players of this level just feels different. And so I love major league debuts anyway. I was just tweeting about John Rave getting his first career hit. I never get tired of those two things. Okay, great. So now it's just, can he live up to the expectation?
I would say
Bobby Wood Jr. did. This is hard. It's hard to live up to that level of expectation.
Long-term in his career, he might. Immediately, I don't know how he does, just because
He has to
it's
save
so,
the offense.
I mean, that he's coming in here, and I know the organization's not telling him to be this, but as bad as the offense is, the fans have seen what he's done in Double-A and a short stint in Triple-A. They're expecting him to come up and save the offense. Fans are. And by calling him up now, it also is fueling that even more, I would say. And I do think, in our brief interaction we've had with him and things like that, he seems like someone that's going to be very even-keeled, level-headed, not too high, not too low. But also knows he's good. And also knows he's the real deal. So I think that's not a concern. But the reality, look at any of these other guys who have been called up, recently, whether it's Royals organization or not. There's also a very real chance that he struggles. Now, will he struggle right away? Will it be 2 weeks from now? I have no idea. But let's definitely enjoy today and tomorrow and hope that something special happens. And for this year's team, look, they do need him to be a huge force for them because they have zero pop in the lineup whatsoever. And for him personally too, I think it's pretty cool. His fiance, I guess, was out of the country for weeks or whatever, and she just got back. She was in Omaha on Friday. She just got back for the game Friday. So the fact that she was able to be there, presumably, obviously as he got the news, I don't know, last night or whatever it would have been, is also just pretty cool for him, obviously, the way everything came together. But I do think it sends a message, though, for anybody that was questioning. We got texts on this last week and really over the last couple of weeks of, they're waiting too long or they're slow playing as an organization. The timing of Kags getting called up means, I don't care, you cannot question their desire to win now.
Oh, no, they want to win.
It is June 2nd. He's getting called up. And look, maybe with the formula, maybe they figured out, hey, the whole Super 2 eligibility thing, that they're probably okay and maybe clear of it anyway, or they're willing to sacrifice what could cost them ultimately $10 million down the road if, in fact, he becomes Super 2 eligible. And props to them if they're willing to do that. But it tells you that the offensive struggles and back-to-back 1-0 games, plus just where they're at as an organization in this year and the expectations from the fan base as well. I think that's a great signal to your fans. I think it's a great signal to the clubhouse and guys that we're trying to win now. We're bringing you help. You know how all fired up we all are as a fan base today, and he's even doing this radio show together. Think about the clubhouse. That has to give them a renewed sense of energy heading into tomorrow's game against the Cardinals.
I know it stinks for the guys who haven't been performing to feel like, because if this offense was scoring 6 runs a game, do they do it today, Gold, or do they wait 2 more weeks? The answer is probably they wait 2 more weeks, even though they had said they like to try to call up a guy when the offense is rolling and he gets to just be a part of it. And instead, he's going to come up in at 5th or 6th, most likely, I think.
I think so.
For this team, and he's going to be in that spot, and he's going to be counted on to immediately do it. But they should be win now. You got Bobby Witt Jr. You don't know how many years you got. Let's say there's a lockout in 2027. You lose a whole year this season. What do I got? 4 years left of Bobby? We told him we were serious about winning. We went after guys like Lugo. We made trades for Reagans. We gave Walker money in the offseason. We spent money on Estevez. Everything else they've done is about winning now. So why the hell wouldn't it be for Jack Kaggleon? Honestly, I think they probably would have been more aggressive in the offseason fixing the outfield issue if they didn't have a player like that who had the possibility of coming up and making an immediate impact offensively. Look, I'm still worried about the offense. I'm not going to come in here this week and emphasize the same thing. The Royals are going to win every game, either 2-1 or lose every game 2-1. And that is a thin margin. You pitched lights out. Chris Bubich was incredible yesterday. And you lost a game 1-0. Do you know how deflating that must feel as an offense when you go in there and you got Chris Bubich to just be nails the entire night and then still lose? This is where Jack Kaggleon, even if he comes up and hits 240, he will run into some home runs on accident with his power. And so you need the ability to just score two, score three, score one in some cases, because one run could make a huge difference for them.
JJ Piccolo, we think, might be on the show tomorrow. It'd be a regular time for him. If not, we'll try to catch up this week with him and obviously talk about the timing of this. And I know a lot of people thought it should have happened earlier anyway, but just...
it's been, 2 weeks in AAA?
12 games, I think it was.
Yeah.
And he ran into one on his first at-bat Friday night.
So you got to see home run at double and triple A.
Turned out to be his last AAA home run. Hopefully he never has to go back down there. So hopefully that was his last ever AAA home run on Friday night. No, I bring up the timing again because I think it's fair to say, I'll see if you agree, that despite how much he has just completely destroyed the competition at every other level, I do think, even based off what JJ had said publicly last week, hey, we want to see him for at least a little bit. I still think what happened this weekend and the continued struggle for the offense pushed it up. Did it push it up a month or two? No, I think Jack Kaggleon pushed it up a month or two. Did it push it up for like this today versus 2 weeks from now versus 10 days from now? I think the offense this weekend, if the Royals would have got on, swept the Tigers and scored, I don't know if I'll ever get the real answer on this. I'm convinced that they don't call him up today or tomorrow. But the continued struggles with the offense, and as you just said, hey, he still is going to strike out. He's still going to have his growing pains. But you know what? Occasionally, he's just going to run into one and destroy a baseball. We got to have it. We have too good a pitcher. Chris Bubich is having a career year. We still have Cole Reagans coming back at some point in time. If you're J.J. Piccolo, you're saying. Seth Lugo, while it was a rough first outing back, we have Lugo. You look at what you're getting from your bullpen, even though Urseg's now on the IL. We haven't even talked about him. And that news over the weekend, which is a big bummer, too. So I think that the timing is not
you can't pitch your way out of the back end. Yeah, I can't either. And I think it was a guest last week on our show. Maybe it was a national pundit. I can't remember now. But the best way to look at it, I think, with Jack is he might still struggle. I'm not trying to pretend like he's going to come up and he's going to have Ellie De La, and he might do that too. And he's just going to be like when Ellie De La Cruz came into the league. Remember Golden? He just hit like 12 homers his first month. I'm not telling you Jack's going to have 14 homers for his number. When 14's open, so I'm assuming that's when it wear.
Yeah.
When he gets
those
called
might
up,
be a little popular next week at the Royals team store.
Yeah, I think so. But so I don't, or the Kag shirts from Ray Gun might be very popular, the ones we all wore out there. But so when you look at it, I think it was at the point, though, and this is what really matters to me in the minors is, he might still struggle in the bigs. But he was never going to figure out his struggles in the minors. He was too good for them. He was too good for AA. He was too good for AAA. He wasn't going to work through whatever problems his game might have, hypothetically, at AAA. He showed up to AAA Gold and was immediately successful and started hitting bombs and getting sack flies. And this weekend, you might look at Saturday and Sunday and be like, did he do much? Because he technically, I think, went 0 for 4 or 0 for 5 Saturday and Sunday combined. He also had 3 walks and a sack fly.
That's what was,
and was like a productive hitter. So even when he's not getting hits, he's been a regularly producing player. He needs to get to the bigs. He's got to get to the bigs.
And now he is. Tomorrow he's going to make his debut just down I-70 in St. Louis. I know we all were hoping that his true debut was going to be at home. But again, I think that was also a sign of the timing of everything. Now, look, if you weren't going to debut at Kauffman, St. Louis is the next closest thing. So it is feasible for fans maybe to head over to St. Louis over the next couple of days to watch Kags there as well. I think what you pointed out about the at-bats he had. On Friday night, so first at-bat in Omaha, down there, he hits the home run. But then maybe his last at-bat, or second to last at-bat, and I put out the video of it, he was down 0-2 in the count. It's one at-bat, all right? But down 0-2, and he ends up working a walk. That's the best sign. As much as I love the first at-bat home run, the best sign is that he was down 0-2 in a count. He didn't chase. He ends up working a walk. And I know that's not what people came to see in that moment in that bat.
But that's what he needs to do.
But that's what he needs to do if he wants to be the guy we all hope he's going to be. The Pete Alonso comparisons from Jim Callis, or from JJ Piccolo, better than a bigger version of Shohei Ohtani from Jim Callis on the show. Last week we had JJ Cooper, who said Giancarlo Stanton was his comp. I mean, this is what's out there. This is what's out there for Jack Kaggleon.
I think he's, if Babe Ruth and Barry Bonds had a baby, and then that, it's a slightly different comp for me. But, still pretty good overall. No, look, this weekend, and this is where it kind of was. What I learned about the Royals this weekend is kind of what I already knew. We asked, hey, how is this Tigers series going to make us feel about the Royals? And what I watched this weekend was not a team that was kind of like you know what it reminded me of? the Yankees playoff series last year, what I felt coming into that series is this is not a team that is light years ahead of where the Royals are. This is not a team that gets to just pick on them and it's baby brother and it's all these years where I watch a Royals team just get their teeth kicked in by a far superior team. I didn't feel that way watching the Royals play all weekend. What I felt like is if this team had the 15th best offense in baseball, they'd be right where this team is. Like what? And that's how I felt like last year in the playoffs. I'm like, God, if they could just hit a little, this Yankees series would feel so different. That's how I felt in the playoffs last year. It felt very similar to that, which is if you could just find a way to scratch across a couple, I can see that you're fighting. I can see the will. I do not think you are way down the talent base. Walker flirted with a no-hitter. Chris Bubich was incredible. They once again can just pitch. I think the text line pointed out 194 runs in 60 games, kind of crazy. This team can pitch. And that's even without, the bad news this weekend that Urseg is going to be down for a little bit because of his injury. And it's just like, you gotta supplement it. You got to offer it. And you and I still think 3 weeks from now, a month from now, they could be adding another bat, hypothetically,
well, I think
in the
they
trade
still will
market
need to.
too. And then the offense could look a lot different.
They still will need to, but there's also the reality where he gets called up, and whether it's him individually or just the team, because it's more than just him, doesn't start hitting, and they still continue to struggle offensively. And are they still above 500? Are they still that kind of
What are they, 2 games
team?
above 500 right now?
Yeah, I believe that's accurate. Yeah, because they lost 2 of 3. They lost that 2 out of 3. So to the Tigers over the weekend. So there's also that. This is a move where you're also, you got to stay in it. And the pitching's giving you a chance to stay in it, but also from a true standings perspective and a wild card spot perspective and all that, for you to be a buyer in a month. And hopefully he can give you just enough.
I just think there's no way they're not going to be a buyer at this point for what you said at the beginning of the show.
They're
when you call up Jack, when you do all this stuff, they're in it to win. Like they're not,
I agree.
I
agree.
They're not messing around.
But that's why I think you make this move now, though, to make sure you still are in position to be that, though, because you would worry, would things slip all of a sudden, and you find yourself in, you don't want to call up Jack Kaggleon when you're 5 games under 500. Call him up now. You're above 500. Hopefully you can get it done on the road here a little bit as a team, and then you come back next weekend against a very good Yankees team that already has beat you a couple times this season. But the excitement is awesome. We're going to have plenty of time throughout today and tomorrow, because again, they're off today, so it's not like we got to debut tonight. We got to wait until tomorrow night, 6:45 first pitch, right here on 96.5 The Fan in St. Louis. And I'll be curious to see how many Royals fans make the trip.
Because of the way it worked with Hosmer's debut versus Bobby's versus others, this feels more like when Hosmer got called up to me than when Bobby did. Because, again, it was to open the season. Everyone knew he was a star, but it was like there was no mystery in it. We knew for the entire 6 weeks of spring training, Gold, he was going to be like a Royals starter by the time the first game of the season hit. And so we kind of all had that feeling, and it wasn't like quite the same like, oh, he's here. That was like Hosmer's like, oh, he's here. Oh, here comes the debut. You and I were both there for Alex Gordon's. I am curious what Tuesday looks like, because Alex Gordon was a home debut, and the crowd rose to their feet, and he stepped to the plate with the bases loaded.
Curt Schilling, I believe.
Against Curt Schilling, and you're like, wow, this is a moment. He struck out, unfortunately, but the moment still felt big. And, look, take it for what it is. Alex Gordon maybe didn't end up living up to the, ultimate ceiling people thought he was capable of being. Ended up being a 10-year big leaguer, lifetime Royal, and a World Series winner.
Royals Hall of Famer.
And a Royals Hall of Famer. I wouldn't say I'm disappointed with what they got out of Alex Gordon. So debuts like this always just feel so.
Yeah, tomorrow will be special, but next Tuesday, as you said, against the Yankees is when it's going to be really, really cool. And I'm sure a lot of you have already tried to get tickets for that. And it's already the Yankees. I know it's a weekday series, but it's already a Yankees series, which usually brings some more people out. So it could be an incredible moment.
Price next Tuesday. Have we looked? It's not sold out yet,
right?
No,
it's not sold out. And I think it'll still be. I think it'll still be a little tricky to sell. It depends on what he does this week too. Like that's the thing.
If he hits 6 homers, I think we're probably having a different conversation.
Yes.
Yeah. He hits two tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah.
No big deal. He feels like, I will say, he's a bit of a showman when you're in the stands. He hit a homer when we were there, and then you and Dusty went back, and he hit a homer again in the first game you were there. So
yeah, look, I think you guys know.
You were there.
I'll just say what you're all thinking. I'll just say what you're all thinking. Clearly, they were waiting for our in-person scout in AAA again. I just shot the scouting report over after watching him Friday night in Omaha, and that was the final straw. They just needed one more. They needed, you heard about them having Ned Yost and others go down to Arkansas, Cody, to watch them. They just needed Dusty and I one more time to watch them in Omaha and get the all clear. And that's what happened, and that's why they clearly called them up.
On the secondary site, the cheapest ticket in the building right now is about $50. So we'll see. That's for Upper Tank. So don't know whether or not that will happen. There's really two things I think I need from the listeners on this end. One is there somebody who can, in some world, screen print just a shirt I have in mind? Could someone screen print a shirt today if I sent a photo over? How quickly can you get a shirt screen printed? So 913-586-7965. You got a system on that? I got a project for you. Willing to pay. Not asking for you to do it for free. It's multicolor, but there's a shirt I have in mind that I would like to own. And if you've got screen printing on that,
is it a
913-586-7965.
Cody has not told me. Let me just ask you this. Is it a shirt that a 40-year-old father of two should be wearing?
Debatable.
Ooh, okay.
Debatable. But, I'd like to think that it'd be okay. So there's that.
Interesting.
And then the second thing is, because of travel, if we try, we're obviously as a show, we're trying to get.
Does anybody have a private jet?
Does anyone have a private jet? Because I want to do a Kags song, and I'm worried about timing. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff to get to. I will say, I had a song in mind for Kags. I'd written it like 3 weeks ago. I kept thinking about it, and then I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure that it was the right song.
Okay.
So I've changed songs. It is not the right song, I've decided.
You have two songs.
I have a song fully written, not performed, written for Kags that I'm not going to perform because it's not the right song. I have found the right song. I will be attempting to record that sometime today, I guess, so I can have it for his debut. But traveling all that stuff, it feels it's going to be a real challenge.
You don't
want to have for the show
lyrics
tomorrow.
or anything? Because 3 weeks ago, we didn't know where he was going to be. And now that he's going to be here.
The new song plays. It was something I've been kicking around for the last week or so. Upon sending, I did some test recordings of both songs.
Test recordings?
And in listening to both, the second song was the choice.
Some proper
Do you want to
studio time.
Do you want to know what the first song was?
I know what the first song is.
Oh, okay. You know what the first song was?
I think the first one was, instead of I'm in love with a stripper, it was I'm in love with a hitter.
That is correct.
Okay.
That was the initial song I was going to do.
That's what I thought.
I think you should
that
still
one
play
would have
that
been
one.
creepy. Please tell me this one's less creepy.
That was the initial song. Yes, it's less creepy.
Okay.
It's less creepy.
I think you should still play the... I want to hear...
You want to hear I'm in love with a hitter?
I want to hear the performance, yes.
Maybe down the road.
And you think this one's better?
I think this one is... I think it's more appropriate for the debut. Like songs should have like a certain, or players should have a certain like energy to them.
Okay.
I felt like that song, I think he needed more of a rock anthem.
Oh,
He's a power hitter, you know? He's a power hitter making his mid-season debut. I felt like he needed more of a rock anthem, which is maybe where I felt
Cody's going to go full heavy metal.
So
I think you need a music. If you actually do if it's like a metal, I don't know what it is. If it is a metal cover,
I'm assuming it's a popular song because usually that's the key here.
If it's a metal cover, I think you should also have a music video that goes along with this at a future date that's released.
Somebody says their boss has a plane, but not if Cody sings. I'll pass on the song if we got a plane. If I don't have to drive and we got a plane there and back.
Yeah, look, you just got a nice little PJ. Just 2:30, we can be at the air. We'll be at New Century, or we'll be at Johnson County Executive 2:30 tomorrow afternoon, or tonight, anytime. Honestly, anytime, and just we'll just be quiet. We'll hop on the jet. Quick, what is that? A 35-minute flight, 40-minute flight. No big deal. Just let us know.
Somebody's claiming there's websites for T-shirts you can have in hours. Where are they printing these things? You're telling me I can order a T-shirt online that I can get in hours? That seems crazy.
It must be like 1-800-Flowers, but like for T-shirts, where they just partner up with a local screen printer, and then they just connect you.
I think the part, that's got to be it. So I got to at least figure it out. Somebody's suggesting a couple of places. Please continue to give me ideas because I would like to maybe get that shirt made today. I will give you one line from the original song I was going to do.
Okay.
That is, I'm in love with a hitter. That was the name of the song. The very beginning of the song when he says, a body, a goddess, it was going to be, got the body in Adonis. Was that the line to start the song? So it was going to have a certain energy.
And you pivoted.
I pivoted because I felt like Rock Anthem was definitely the choice.
All right, up next, we'll continue to talk about Kags a little bit, including his Rookie of the Year odds. They have been cut in half, well, more than half at this point in time. And I got to clear the air on something. A lot of you are texting in. I guess the morning show brought something up that happened in Omaha. I have to explain myself. That's coming up next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Cole Reagans, and you're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Well, you thought Jack Kaggleon was called up very quickly. You could have an entire new career in as little as 4 months.
That's pretty much, he spent less time in the minors, but that's maybe the total amount of time he played in the minor leagues. So if you want to have a career in 4 months, why wouldn't you go to centric.com? Find out for yourself where those new careers in IT are. He's getting a new job in Kansas City. You could get a new job in Kansas City. They're building IT facilities right now. They've added 3,000. The KC Tech Council has added 3,000 IT jobs open in March alone. It can be a great start for your new career.
Yeah, tech jobs are available in every industry you can possibly think of. Some of the companies who have hired Centric grads, Garmin, T-Mobile, IBM, you go on and on and on. There is an industry that is looking for tech jobs, and that's where Centric comes in. Make sure you talk to our friend Russ Mondry and go to centric.com.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
It's funny how one little light can stall out your entire day. I was already running behind, and now this, the check engine light. So I reached out to my go-to problem solver. Dad, check engine light. What do? He didn't miss a beat. Take it to Telly, he said. So I did. When I got there, they didn't just fix my car. They fixed my day. They were quick, clear, and took care of everything. Next time my car glitches out, I'm heading for Telly. Don't let that little light be game over. Take it to Telly.
Hey there, Royals fans. It's Royals Hall of Famer Mike Sweeney. Have you or your kids experienced a high school coach who wants to make our Kansas City community a better place to live, work, and play? The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation, together with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City, are shining a spotlight on 6 impactful coaches in the KC metro area. Nominate a high school coach today at royals.com/coaches with character.
The best moments in life weren't meant to sit in a box, gathering dust in the attic, or stuck on outdated tapes. They're meant to be seen, heard, and shared again and again. That's why Legacy Box exists, to help you preserve and relive your family's history. Imagine being able to text a video of your grandparents to your kids, or share a childhood memory with your siblings in seconds. Legacy Box makes it that easy. Just fill your Legacy Box with all your analog media. Send it to our headquarters in Tennessee, where we digitize everything by hand. And in just a few weeks, we'll send back your originals, digitized, preserved, and stored in the cloud, so you can easily stream, download, and share your memories anytime, anywhere. Join the millions of families that have trusted Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value for 50% off. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off.
FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals starting up this week. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. If you want to check a player's consistency during the playoffs, maybe they've been flirting with that potential triple-double, you can get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. And then right after the tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get in on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expires 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
But what he'll never have is the love I have for you.
What He'll Never Have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
And Till I Can't, I Will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can't, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams primer and ceiling paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Are you ready to take your business to the next level? Meet Viant AI, the world's first fully autonomous advertising platform. With Viant AI, you can automate media planning, analyze results, and drive smarter decisions, all while saving you time and resources. Viant AI helps you unlock new potential and boost productivity regardless of your expertise. Visit Viant.ai today and see how the future of artificial intelligence in advertising can work for you.
This report is brought to you by Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka and Surfside Lemonade and Vodka. Proud partner of the Kansas City Royals. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories and the best part, 0 bubbles. Grab it at the K or ask for it at your favorite bars and liquor stores.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
All right, just getting started. Fun day in Kansas City. Tomorrow's going to be even better as Kags makes his MLB debut. We appreciate you guys as always. Hope you had a great weekend. I think a lot of people fired up, obviously, see what can happen now with Jack Kaggleon, part of the big league club. Just for housekeeping purposes, the corresponding move for now, Dairon Blanco was optioned back down to AAA to make room for Kags. Now, I think they still got to do some 40-man roster maneuvering, but that'll probably come tomorrow afternoon. We went through some names last week or so. There's plenty of potential things they could do to easily get him added over to the 40-man roster before tomorrow's debut against the Cardinals. You guys can hit us up on the Jays Southland Tow Service text line 913-586-7965. Also, video stream up and running. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Twitter. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the shows here on 96.5 The Fan. So we mentioned I was in Omaha over the weekend, obviously with Dusty. We went up there to see Kags and had a great time. I do think Omaha is underrated in terms of just, if you're trying to spend a weekend. A lot of listeners we actually ran into at the stadium. A lot of people said they drove up Saturday morning, went with their kids to the Omaha Zoo, then went to the ballpark, and then drove back Sunday morning. So it was a great little weekend trip for a lot of people. We had a good time up there. I've gotten multiple texts. I don't know what the morning show said, Cody. I don't know what they've been saying.
I wasn't there, so I can't speak to it. So I wasn't in there, and I wasn't a part of the morning show.
Jake Eisenberg, along with a bunch of people, recommended a certain spot for us to go get food.
Okay.
And they say, hey, the burgers are great. And what did Jake Eisenberg say? He's like, they got a different special every day. You got to try it. So Saturday, we did a little day drinking, and then we said, let's go get some lunch. Let's go to...
You go to Block 16.
Let's go to that restaurant.
Okay.
And the special, right, the special that they had looked incredible. Let me show you guys on the text line, and Cody, you can see a photo. This special is different every day. It looked very, very good.
Sure.
Very good. It was
Looks like a tasty sandwich. Is it on rye?
It's a sourdough. It's technically a burger patty melt, but certified patty, Gouda, Gruyere, all the cheeses you like, Cody. PM sauce, grilled onion, butter grilled sourdough, available all day till they sell out. So I'm like, oh,
Sounds
man,
awesome.
I'm like, this is it. And you guys normally criticize me for ordering just the most simplest thing on the menu. So I said, no, I'm going to try something different. This looks good.
You're going to mix it up. I like it.
Good.
Okay.
I go up to the counter. It's one of those where like you order and then you sit down and they bring it to you. Like, that style. And so I go, hey, is there any way I can get it without the PM sauce? I don't need the sauce. Everything else looks great. They're like, no substitutions on the special. I'm like, okay, fair enough. And Dusty's like, you're not going to like it. It's going to be like a Big Mac sauce. And I go, what's that? He's like, you're not going to like it? I go, I'll get it anyway. All good.
You're taking a chance.
All good.
That's fine.
So we sit down, we wait. Actually met a listener there as well as we were sitting down waiting. They bring it out. It looks really good. The fries were amazing. I take a couple bites and I tried to scrape off some of the sauce or whatever. And I was just out after a couple bites. But they had already brought a grilled cheese as well. They messed up. They brought me a grilled cheese and then like 2 minutes later said, oh, we didn't mean to do that. Here's your order. So I'm like, okay.
Here's your actual
So I had a couple bites of this special, and then I realized quickly that the sauce was going to be a problem. And so then I just ate the grilled cheese and the fries. And the text line has said, why'd you order grilled cheese? I did not order a grilled cheese, Cody. They brought it. And they must have known I wasn't going to like this special.
They just thought, would you like this grilled cheese instead?
I will say this, and I get in a kitchen scenario. My guess is it's very easy. You tell me you worked at a restaurant. Hey, you just want to say hey, the special, and they don't want to have any modification. That's what it was, right? Even though I wasn't asking for different cheese, I wasn't asking for different bread. Just don't put any sauce on it. So, but I did not order a grilled cheese. Let the record show. I did not order a grilled cheese. They brought me a grilled cheese.
I appreciate you trying a different sandwich. You know what a good way to step into trying new food
but
is?
You know this
sauce on side. Now I know that they said no specialties.
I
but like,
asked for sauce
that
on
way,
side.
at least you can don't get rid of the sauce.
I asked.
Leave it in there. It's supposed to be a part of the sandwich. Open your world a little bit.
Mm-hmm. That was my.
I'm happy to be critical.
Here's
under
where
the circumstances in which it warrants.
I think there's
this
a
doesn't
little.
feel like it's one that warrants.
I think there's a little hypocrisy from the folks on the text line. Normally, if I would have said all I ordered was a plain hamburger or something, you guys would have said, "Oh my gosh, try something new, Gold." I did.
It's a hamburger place. I'm not going to be offended.
I didn't like it, and then now you guys are saying, "Well, why did you order it anyway?" It's a lose. I can't win. I can't win here.
I mean, I don't see any issue with ordering it. You tried.
Yeah, the photo looked incredible.
Yeah, photo looks good.
I mean,
good looking sandwich. I like it on the sourdough, all that.
Somebody brings up a good question. Are you able to taste things now? Like, are you
I've
able
always
to...
been able to taste
It's
things.
just faint. And the smell is more the taste.
Some things aren't as strong of a taste because I haven't been able to smell for now a year and a half.
So that's what it is. The scent is not...
Oh, I can't smell anything.
Yeah.
As I've said, Cody could smell like
you
anything,
still got the
and I
palate.
wouldn't
I
smell
shower
it.
every day.
That's good. Thank you.
I did see...
The rest of the building thanks you as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Too important.
but
too ingrained into my daily routine.
A bunch of people were wearing the Kags shirts in Omaha, though, Cody, walking around the concourse in Warner Park. A bunch of people had the Kags shirts from our Springfield trip.
Where is it? The ones with the 96.5 or the ones you can just go buy a rig?
96.5.
Oh, I like it. So people thought it was fun going down to Springfield. So why not go back up?
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, was the service good at the restaurant? Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Nice people?
Very nice people. Accommodating. No
Great.
issues at all. They were super nice. Can't say enough about how nice their staff was. I think their owner was very nice and everything.
Great.
Too, so it was
Great. Glad you guys had fun.
Yeah.
And skin of your teeth. Just barely got it done. Which brings us to a bet we know our boss made and a lot of people made, and I hope you made a couple of days ago and not last night. Because now the real question I'm getting from fans, now that he's up, is there's two things I'm getting asked. Where's he going to hit? And I'm like, I don't know, fifth or sixth is probably a good guess. My guess is behind Michael Garcia, and he'll hit sixth. And the second question you get is, can he win or will he win Rookie of the Year? Look, his odds, Gold, were 40-1 48 hours ago. Like it was, less than a week ago.
Oh, less than that. I mean, Cody,
15 hours
yesterday. This time yesterday, you could still find them at 30-1. But those have been more than cut in half, 15-1 down to 9-1 for him to win Rookie of the Year. And the favorite is Jacob Wilson,
who's minus 400.
Yeah, he was 50-1 in March. Someone just sent me a screenshot of their bet they made in March when he was 51. They put $500 on him to win Rookie of the Year in March to win $25,000. So that person's feeling good at least about their chances. Odds-wise. I still think the tricky thing here is that Jacob Wilson had a head start by 2 months, and he's hitting 350. But this was the timeline last week when we brought it up that if you think he can win Rookie of the Year, he needed to be called up like now. because if he was waiting till July, too much work to make up. He now has a shot. If he rakes.
June, July, August, September. He's got 4 months.
If he rakes, he could get it done. And remember, you would get a comp pick
I think
if he wins
even
it.
if they finish in the top.
International, I think, for second and third.
Yeah, okay.
I think is how it works.
Yeah, I think you're right. Which
But,
they'll take.
But sure.
International money's not nothing. It's money you don't get otherwise. Here's the thing that'll help him, is that Jacob Wilson is hitting home runs and is getting RBI as well, and he's been a 2.3 WAR player, but it's the home run thing. Because this is, as old MVP, Rookie of the Years, whatever, a narrative-based award. What he'll have to do in order to win it, Gold, is to have that Ellie De La Cruz appear. You know, like, show up in the big leagues, and in the first 2 weeks, everyone will be like, well, that's a freak of nature. Watch him slug the ball into the fountains. Have a game-winning home run. Have a walk-off home run. Just the way to make up the gap on Jacob Wilson is to have a moment and to have it early. Have that, like, I'm in the big leagues and everybody knows it moment, and surpass this guy in home runs in a couple of weeks that in 57 games he's got 7. Over the next, 25 games have 7. And jump ahead. Look, it's still a long shot. It's a great bet if you made it at 40 or 50 to 1. You got tremendous odds.
The hard
it's still a long shot. I don't actually think he's going to win it. I'm assuming Jacob Wilson's going to win it.
Yeah, if you bet him at 40 to 1 or better than that, like, props to you. You gambled on him even having a shot, and now he has a shot. That was the risk. If you bet a week ago, you bet hoping that he would get called up soon enough. If the Royals offense was not struggling, I'm convinced he wouldn't have been called up yet. And so 3 weeks from now, it would have been too late to win Rookie of the Year. He's got a shot. I would put it at a 10 to 15% shot to win it, which is better than 0. Now that it's down to 9 to 1, I don't know if I would touch it. Full disclosure, I have a ticket on him, not at 40 to 1, because now I'm like, screw it. I got him at 15 to 1 right when the announcement happened.
So still better than the 9 to 1 you could get it at today.
Correct. So
those odds shifted fast, I bet.
Oh, well, sure, because everybody's thinking the same thing. Everybody's thinking the same thing.
Cody, you mentioned him having a moment. I mean, I can't think of any better moment than next week out playing Aaron Judge against the Yankees at home and having a walk-off.
They got any nationally televised ones out of those Yankees games? One of those happened to be on Fox at night or something? Because that, again, it's a narrative-based award. And you know what narrative people like out of hitters more than anything else? Homers.
For sure.
And he hits big. This is the thing that will actually help him. The reason why I actually give him a chance, Gold, I'd say 10, 15% chance. The reason why I even give him a chance to do it is every highlight of him hitting the ball 487 feet is a thing that helps.
Yeah, he has to be the story, though, and that's where you brought up how quick, like, immediately. We're just talking for Rookie of the Year, not for him to have a successful first, half a season or whatever with the Royals. But if we're talking Rookie of the Year, it would take him being the story initially, as in he hit. I mean, it sounds crazy stuff, honestly, Cody. Walk-off home run in the first week or two. I'm serious. Like, that's the crazy stuff that you almost need to jumpstart the Rookie of the Year campaign for him to do that. Someone points out that the Yankees game on Tuesday is national television as well. That helps.
Oh, his debut?
Network,
yeah, TBS or MLB Network, yeah.
Well, it's with TBS is Tuesday, Thursday is MLB Network.
So twice in the series, he's on national TV. That helps the cause for that. So it's all there, man. It is all set up.
The stage is set. Again, it's a long shot. I actually think it's about the percentage chance of what his current odds are, Gold. I'd probably give him a 10% chance. He's 9 to 1, right? I mean, I think that's a fair odd based on what you're getting out of it, and we'll see how this. Someone says from the 816, any chance of home run derby? Oh my God, please put Jack. By the way, another thing that would really boost his chances of being in there, but he'd have to hit like 9 home runs in the next 2 weeks.
I don't think there's enough time.
There's just not.
He'll be in it eventually. Don't worry. He'll be in it eventually. I don't know if that's realistic.
And hopefully they'll talk about him instead of talking about whoever the hell else they were talking about instead of Salvador Perez.
Where's the All-Star game at this year?
Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, the Battery? I think so. That sounds
How
right.
convenient.
For which part?
Like the Battery. That might be what they're in that building here.
We're just going to have to travel the globe to watch Kags. You've been to Springfield and Omaha. You and I might be in St. Louis tomorrow to watch it. Then should we go to Chicago after that?
I don't think it's.
Should we go to Atlanta to watch him in the home run derby if he's in it?
Yeah, I don't even think it's might anymore. I think we can probably say now that we're driving to St. Louis tonight and we're going to be at the game tomorrow. We're doing our
very
show.
last minute. We have decided to go to St. Louis because this show supports Jack.
We just got that finalized, I think. So we're driving to St. Louis tonight. We'll be in St. Louis tomorrow doing our show, and then we'll be there for plenty of coverage of Kags' debut.
I'll be honest. The initial call was like, what? Like, hey, I didn't warn her last night because I wasn't really sure how realistic of a possibility it was.
Yeah, how's your wife
for
feeling?
you and I to get to St. Louis on short day? It's kind of weird to tell somebody like, hey, I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock tonight. See ya? Bit of an awkward. Nah, it was fine. She was comfortable with it. I just wanted to make sure that our schedules line up. More than anything else, you're not trying to leave one parent hanging, you know? You don't want to leave them high and dry. Gold, where you're like, good luck being a parent. I'll just be sitting out at St. Louis watching Jack Kaggleon ideally hit a home run in his major league debut. Bye. All is well. Seems like we'll be good to go. Good to go. I'm excited to go. You were at, which big debuts have you been at before? Were you at Bobby's? I was at Bobby's.
I was not at Bobby's. I wasn't in town. I don't think I was working in the city at the time.
I was at Bobby with Juniors. I was at Alex Gordon's.
Gordon and Haas.
Was it Jimmy Gobbles? That was a big one because of how well he pitched.
Gordon and Haas and Daniel Lynch. I was at Daniel Lynch's.
Like 15 debuts.
I think I was at Daniel Lynch's debut as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you think Zumwalt will be his hitting coach by Tuesday?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't think they're going to make a change in season.
You could do it quietly.
I don't think
this would be the time to do it quietly. But
I don't think they'll make a change in season. That's an off-season convo. I know people don't want to hear that, but I think it's an off. Even though we talked about clearly there needs to be more discussion about what's going on there with hitting development and everything, but I don't think they're going to do it in season. No.
So we are legit going. Someone's like on Twitch. Someone's like, "Damn, wait, are you guys legit going out there?" Yes.
Yeah, we're
Alex
driving
will
tonight.
now have seen Kaggleon. By the time he sees Kaggleon next Tuesday against the Yankees, he will have watched Jack Kaggleon play. I will have watched him in 3 different cities, and you would have watched him in 4 in a 4-week or 5-6 week whatever time period. When did we go to Springfield? I don't remember now.
Early May.
It's
It's been a weird month, I'll be honest. I did not expect to be in some of the cities I've been in the last month.
You weren't planning on just slowly traveling the globe watching Jack Kaggleon. You're coming in like a super fan, you know?
Yeah, well, I'm definitely a fan of his. That's for sure.
Someone said we're groupies. You guys are groupies.
There you go.
Kags groupies.
I mean, at this point, it's kind of starting to sound like that. I mean, do you blame us? Do you blame us? If you could get off work tomorrow, is anybody? Let me know. 913-586-7965. If can't, are you going to get off work tomorrow? And if you could, would you drive out to St. Louis? This is not even the most. Now, I will say, Gold, you mentioned earlier in the show the pre-kid life, and then even the relationship, relationship stuff. That's fine, but the pre-kid flexibility, that is something to behold. This isn't even the most reckless spur of the moment trip. I once on 48 might have been less than that. 36 hours notice. Got asked by a friend if I would drive with him to Savannah, Georgia, and I spent 5 days there. I went on 36 hours notice. I once got woke up at 6 a.m. and asked if I would drive to the Gulf of Mexico when I was 17 years old that day, and I went. So really, this is pretty in line of my personality. I should probably stop doing that and instead plan trips.
Yeah, man, it's been an interesting 24 hours or 12 hours or so. Thinking of interesting, Drew, you texted us over the weekend.
Why do you do this to yourself, Drew?
Well, we'll get to no. The text he sent us.
Different text. Oh,
we'll
yeah,
get
that
to
text.
his tweet, which he's a little off the hook today because of Kags' call-up. He's not front and center with him just trying to cause a Twitter's.
People up again?
No, we'll do that in a minute.
You tried to rile people up on social media yesterday. We'll get to that, and then you tried to back off it and run. We'll get to that.
Okay.
We'll get to it. But I'm talking about the text you sent us. It was a screenshot. I'm still confused about what the screenshot was.
So I got the text message. Not my. I did not. So I got a text message. It was. At first, I thought it was. Or I was just enjoying my weekend. And Saturday, I got a text that says it's from maybe Mark. Obviously, if you have an iPhone, it does that. I don't know if Androids do the same thing. This person's name is probably this. The text reads, "The thought of losing you keeps me up at night."
I thought at first this was to your wife from an ex.
No.
This
is to me.
as well.
This is to me.
Okay, what'd you say?
This is from Mark. I just said,
Hey, Mark.
I was like, should I play along with this? So I sent
This poor guy's lovesick.
I sent a GIF of some sort of funny kissing emoji.
You responded back.
Oh yeah, 100%. I felt like I was obligated to.
You sent back a kissing emoji to this guy.
Felt like I was obligated.
It was ruining this guy's day.
No, it wasn't an emoji. It was one of the GIFs or whatever. It was
he thinks he's alive.
Oh yeah. So he responds back, or he has not responded back yet. I'm still waiting for the reply. maybe that's, I don't know.
Are you sure it's not a spam text? Like it's one of these people like when Gold got one out of town and be like, saw you're in town. What are you up to tonight?
It must be. I thought it would be funny to play along, but I was like, what the heck is this?
What would you do, by the way, if an ex sent you a message that said, I mean, like...
The thought of losing you keeps me up at night.
Let's just say, Gold,
up at night.
let's say a girl you dated sent you a message that said, the thought of losing you keeps me up at night. What's your move? Ignore it? Block?
Yes.
Or are you back into it depends on how much you liked him, probably.
100%.
Yeah, at this point, though, I think I would, at this point, I don't think I would respond. I think I'd be out at that point.
But what if
is that too concerning?
Together...
You shouldn't like me that much would be my initial thought.
But how far away? I mean, how long has it been?
That I think is a valid question.
Let's say inside a year.
How enjoyable was the time with this individual? Like if this was one of the best times you've had.
I gotta say, you can't send that text inside a year. You could just text the person and be like, "Hey, you want to go out again? You still single? You want to go on a couple of dates?" That's got to be at least 2-3 years.
I just don't know why you responded to a clear spam text.
Well, because I wanted to have some fun.
But I think you responded to a robot. I think you responded to a robot.
Evidently, I did. I just thought it was going to be funny. I wanted to see what they would say back. It's like playing the game with like the spam callers. Oh, you want me to? Let me see if I have time to talk to you for 10 minutes and get this set up.
I thought they would text back. The spammer's really bad at their job. They're sending spam texts and not even getting back to you?
That's what I'm saying.
Someone said you should never respond. They just got hacked yesterday for $1,800 on their debit card. Thankfully, their bank flagged it.
As somebody who's been hacked before,
Not the time you gave money for your cash. That was not hacked. You were hacked a different time? Do you have any consumer awareness? Why are you always getting ripped off? How'd you get hacked?
Okay, well, it was more ripped off, I guess, than hacked. I would say just from it was ripped off because this person actually responded back, who was the spam.
Responded to a spam text at a different time and got in trouble?
Well, no, I'm saying
you just got to stop responding to random messages.
It's fine. Like I'm not giving them any information. I just sent back a. Apparently, I pronounced it wrong too. It's a GIF, I guess.
Definitely GIF. Definitely GIF.
Whatever.
It's just some people pronounce it the other way. That's fine. But I prefer GIF. I think the original creator of it pronounced GIF, but the original creator of a lot of things.
Look, if the original creator called it a GIF, then hey,
you're sticking with it now.
I don't think you can be wrong. But,
I mean,
somebody said I probably still call people asking if their refrigerator is running. I can't say I've done that yet.
This goes back to the prank call stuff we were talking about with Shadur Sanders and the other stuff where it's like...
That's different.
There are pranks that are funny and light and easy and not serious. And then there's ruining what could be the most important day of this person's life up to this point.
Yes.
And maybe not doing it then. It's like maybe don't prank someone on their wedding day, Not the time to be pulling pranks. Like people kept asking, like the jokes, be like, if Alex got married, we'd let you sing a song. I'm like, I wouldn't ask to sing a song at Alex's wedding. I'm not trying to ruin the day. There's a time to goof around and do it, but it's not then.
All right, coming up next, though, I want to play some audio. We just finally got the live reaction from Jack Kaggleon when he was told he's getting called up. The Royals have that audio available. You guys want to hear this. It's obviously a very, very cool moment when Jersh told Kags, you're getting the call up, go call your dad. So it's awesome audio. We're going to play that for you coming up next right here on Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Had hail like a week and a half ago. More thunderstorms. It's thunderstorm season here in Kansas City. Century Roofing is ready to take care of those things for you because they are a great locally owned and operated company who's been in business for 35 years in the Kansas City area. With a warranty they'll stand behind. They want to warn you against the people who just knock on the door and be like, I'll do your roof. And you don't know how long they've been in Kansas City, what the warranty processes look like, and the quality of work they do. You know the quality of work Century does. They've been voted best of Johnson County 3 years in a row, which tells you people continue to trust their work and will continue to trust their work in the long haul. Look, it's important. I've had them do work on my roof, did some repairs when I had them look at it. Hey, do I need a roof replacement? Do I need this? And they're like, no, here's a few repairs, had them take care of them. Great. When I had the screen porch roof peel up, of course I called them. Plus, right now, because of the storms, they're doing a free impact-resistant material upgrade promotion that can save a homeowner on their insurance premiums over the long haul. Trust the pillars of strength. Go to centuryroofingkc.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where our testosterone therapy can help you sleep better, improve your sex drive, give you better gains in the gym, and more. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, my name is Matt. I've been a patient of Heartland Men's Health for over a year now, utilizing their low T treatment. I woke up one day and realized that I was twice the guy I used to be, and my energy was half of what it was. I made the decision to come into Heartland Men's Health just wanting to feel better and trying to find a solution to why I was tired all the time. And the results that I've gotten brought me back to being myself. It brought me back to being the best spouse I can be, to being the best father I can be. Any of my friends that ask me, they see me, they're like, you're a different person, or they're like, what are you doing? Guys, if anything I've said today resonates with you or makes you think that this might be a good place for you to come get checked out, meet with a specialist here and get your life back on track and feeling better.
Thank you. It's true. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Going out to eat just got a serious upgrade, Kansas City. 30 Hop is your new go-to. An American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. Now open in Lee Summit and just opened at Miriam's Grand Station. As the proud lunch partner of the Cody and Gold Show, 30 Hop truly has something for everyone. Stop in for lunch, stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
The NBA season is coming to a close, and FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals starting up this week. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. If you want to check a player's consistency throughout these playoffs, or maybe they've been flirting with that potential triple-double, well, you can get the latest stats right there inside the app, and you can see who's heating up. And after the tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So if you don't already have FanDuel, you can still get in on the NBA action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to join today. Make every moment more this NBA Finals with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bet. Retires 7 days in receipt. Returns supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit KansasGamblingHelp.com.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins.
Join the millions of people who are celebrating going hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins. Footwear you just step into and they're on. That's right, you don't have to bend down and you don't have to touch them, which is why people can't stop talking.
After trying Skechers Slip-ins, I want all my shoes to have this technology.
So how do hands-free Skechers Slip-ins work? It's like they have an invisible built-in shoehorn so your foot slides into place. Then our heel pillow keeps your foot comfy and secure. And Slip-ins are for the whole family, men, women, and kids, in all your favorite Skechers styles.
It's crazy how something as simple as a pair of shoes have made my life better.
I went hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins, and I'm never going back.
See what everybody can't stop talking about. Go hands-free with Skechers Slip-ins at a Skechers store, Skechers.com, or wherever stylish footwear is sold.
But what I'll never have is the love I have for you.
What He'll Never Have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
And Till I can, I will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can't, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Pro Paint Days are back at Lowe's, and My Lowe's Pro Rewards members can save even more with limited time deals. Right now, buy one, get one half off. Select HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams Primer and Ceiling Paint. Plus, get free same-day delivery to your job site when you order by 2 p.m. Offer valid through 6/13, delivery by 8 p.m., subject to driver availability. Additional terms apply. See Lowe's.com/same-day delivery for details.
Subscribe to the 249 Miles of College Football podcast with new episodes released on Wednesdays. Listen on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
$11 o'clock hour. It's Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We will get to the trash of the day in 20 minutes. Obviously, the story of the day and the story tomorrow as well. Jack Kaggleon called up from AAA Omaha. He will make his big league debut tomorrow night in St. Louis as the Royals take on the Cardinals. It is an off day today. We are talking all things Kags throughout today and probably tomorrow as well. You guys can interact with us, 913-586-7965 on the J Southland Tow Service text line. No matter what team it is, no matter who the player is, one of the coolest moments around baseball is when we get video, or in this case, sound and video. Obviously, on this show, just be the sound of it, but you guys can look for the video of someone finding out they're getting called up. It's always a really, really cool moment. Think about their entire life playing baseball, and their dream, their goal is to get to the big leagues. And even though it seems like, well, obviously Kaggleon knew he would get there based off of where he was drafted and stuff, but still, think about from the very beginning. I always step back because it's like we're obviously.
Think about how long you played baseball, everything you worked through, college, the whole thing.
And
I don't even have to wait long in the minors, but still.
And obviously, you know, your family and everything like that. So this is just out from the Royals just a few minutes ago. This is audio of Jersh, who is now the AAA manager, calls Kags into his office and breaks the news to him that, hey, you're going to the big leagues.
All right, seriously, how do you feel? Good. You feel a little tired because you've been doing a lot of stuff.
Like, not bad.
I mean, you've been doing outfield stuff, and you've been taking your ground balls,
The rest has
everything.
been working me, but it's been good.
So you think you feel like you're at the point where you could help, like, them up there? You think you could?
Yeah.
All right, well, then you can get on the charter tomorrow night and go with them to St. Louis.
Holy crap.
So what do you think?
Oh, that sounds great.
Just remember, it's still a game. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's a little higher level, but you know you can play.
Yeah. Shoot, player.
All right, give me a hug.
Holy cow. I need to call my dad.
What do you think when I started talking to you?
I mean, I was like, damn, it's probably for hitting my knob against the stair. It's like, that's-
I heard
I
that.
was like, damn.
I heard that.
But, oh, no way.
Go call your dad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let the fam know.
Congrats.
I don't think you're going to the zoo tomorrow.
How awesome is that? So that's just out from the Royals when they broke the news to Kags yesterday after their game Sunday there in Omaha, announcing that, telling him that he's going to head to St. Louis, hop on the team charter today. Someone also on the text line is convinced that his name is not Kaggleon. I hate to break it to you, that's his name.
That's how it is in the pronunciation guide.
And every PA announcer at every level is called him Kaggleon, so I don't know if that person's just trolling.
What do they
or
think it
whatever.
is, like Caglione?
I think so, but it's definitely not.
Caglione?
It's definitely not that.
Caglione, that's his name.
Jack Kaggleon.
They at one point sent out a pronunciation guide.
I mean, I just don't like I've been to Springfield games and Omaha games now. Every PA announcer for 3 different games has said
I also
Jack
stood next to
Kaggleon,
him and
so-
called him Jack Caglione, and he did not correct me.
Yeah, so
We were
that person would be
standing right next
incorrect
to him.
on the text line. Anyway, awesome moment though. awesome moment to hear that. And the video you should watch too, because it's cool to see his facial reactions. I think you could tell, 25 seconds in the video, he starts to get a clue that, oh wait, this is
it's very real.
is the moment. This is the moment that's
I
going
gotta
to
call
happen.
my dad. He said, I gotta call my dad.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love moments like that. I really, really, really do. I know we'll talk more about him coming up a little bit in the pressure, but I just kind of, those moments don't get tiresome. That's what we kind of get into sports for. And baseball gets to do that. It's so different versus any other sport in that regard. It never feels like in the NFL, you get drafted. Yeah, you're on the team, you play. It's not like a mystery. The NBA, you get taken 5th overall, you're on the court. It's not like they're making their debut. The grind part of it doesn't exist, or at least the public facing grind part of it doesn't exist the way. So baseball has that unique thing. They have the call up. That's like a thing. Even in basketball, someone gets called up from the G League. Do we make a big deal about it?
No,
not really.
Yeah, it's definitely a baseball thing. I'm with you. It's and you were on MLB Pipeline now, the number 10 prospect in baseball, and you were a top 10 pick in the draft, and everybody knew that you were going to be on the big leagues. Everybody knew you were on a fast track, but still, you never know. There's
sure Nolan Watson thought that, right? Or
Sure.
other guys who've been picked in the top 10 or 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a guarantee just because of where you got picked that you're actually going to get to do this thing. And also, you get to call yourself a big leaguer now. You were in the major leagues. For somebody who spent a lifetime playing baseball, that's still going to hold real personal value. It's very cool. Meanwhile, today begins the beginning of the conversations in Missouri over whether or not they're going to fund part of these stadium projects for the thing. And then Nate Taylor dropped this little nugget over the weekend over The Athletic that apparently Clark Hunt wants a dome on the Kansas side. And notice I said dome. I did not say retractable roof necessarily. And that this is, again, let's start with the obvious. The timing of this is not an accident. Yeah. Similar to the timing of the Royals' planned statement last week was also not an accident. They're making these statements before the Missouri legislature sits in a room for a special session over the next couple of weeks and argues over this stuff. They want to make sure I'll go to Kansas still. But I get why he wants it. It just won't feel right. I'll get used to it. I'm not even saying that. I'll get used to it. A dome in Kansas City would feel wrong. It would feel wrong. It should be an outdoor venue in Kansas City. It just feels right. But he wants a Super Bowl or a Final Four or a million other events. I get it.
You're not building a new stadium without it having a roof.
No, I
mean, you're not
retractable or otherwise.
I'm with you that I would prefer retractable versus just strictly a dome. But we all know, if they're renovating, that's one thing. But if they're building a new stadium, it is going to have a roof just because of the opportunities it allows you to have. You have a chance. I still think it's a long shot, but you have a chance at a Super Bowl. You can get a Final Four.
I don't know if they'll do another cold weather one or not.
You can get college football national title games or semifinals. You can get a bowl game. We can go on and on, right? Every mega concert you can imagine, you can get. That's why you're interested in it. But of course, the timing is definitely not just a coincidence. It's a big week or two in Jeff City. I'll still say, though, I've seen some politicians tweeting over the last 24 hours as well about the Royals and the Chiefs, and there is still seemingly a good group of people that are just completely against the idea of putting together a plan that is going to give the money that's required to keep the teams in Missouri. And how do you win those people over? And in Jefferson City, I think it's a very, very tall task for issues that are completely unrelated to the Chiefs and Royals, right?
Yeah, completely. And I don't think that it's crazy to think that those are the things he wants. It's a business after all, right? And for Clark Hunt, I think, and this goes back to the renovation thing, so like it or not, I would prefer you build your palace, you build your new stadium, makes sense, Mahomes. I don't think Arrowhead can last forever. I don't think it can be Lambeau. I don't think it has an endless shelf life that has no questions about it and it can just extend forever. I think it's maybe got 20 years if you wanted to keep going. But for Clark, it's like, well, if you're not going to let me preserve my family's legacy with this stadium and you don't want to pay for renovations at Arrowhead, well, then fine. I'll just build the new one out in Kansas. And I get that part. But this is the only part, and I know that they're not going to build anything without a retractable. They're not going to build a new without a retractable. But there is a part of me that just deeply, deeply fears how often they keep it closed. I just want it to be closed when it's the game where the Miami Dolphins look like they were going to die if they had to be in the field. Okay, fine. Close the roof. I got it. We don't want to risk. People lost fingers and stuff at that game. I got it. It's cool. We can close it.
Yeah,
for
there
that.
Almost needs to be some true rule where it's, hey, if it's above 10 degrees, it's got to be open.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
10.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll give you 20.
20. There you go. Yeah.
If we're being generous, I'll give you 20. 20 at kickoff, by the way. Not 20 at any portion of the game, but 20 at kickoff.
But let's be real. If there's a new stadium that's built, you're going to have most likely PSLs, those personal seat licenses. You're going to have, I don't know the exact number. Let's just call it, 20 times the suites. And the crowd. This is the concern for some people, right? Like the crowd that will go to those games will be different. And we can call it a corporate crowd, whatever phrase you want to use. It will be potentially different. Now, there will be that same thing, I would argue, to a certain extent, not PSLs, but even if you renovate Arrowhead, the renovation is going to still include, much like the last plan, it would still include ways for them to bring in additional revenue, which would be what? Premium seating options. I'm sorry, there's no scenario where the 300 level is getting the focus of the renovation. That's just not the reality of the business.
No, but it has to be a part of the renovation. The last time, all they did was a canopy and a concrete walkway.
What else are you going to do in the 300 level?
I don't know. Like, I understand. I understand.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's
also, you're trying to renovate a building that's, over 50 years old.
And while they haven't, even though they got a better batch of concrete or whatever the things is that have been said over the years, they're still true to the idea that it will eventually, I don't care, it won't forever last under those circumstances. And so, there is, I do get it, but there is part of me that is just kind of, fearful. I will say, everyone's firing their shot, though. Everyone's going to make the threat at Kansas right now. Last pull. You guys better decide. We're both going there.
Yeah, this is it. This special session that starts today, I think, goes till the 13th. This is the package that has to pass to give you a chance to stay in Missouri, I believe. That's the stadium funding bill, and there's major hurdles with it. It did not even get to a vote, as we know, in the Senate at least, during the regular session, and there's a ton of obstacles. So there's also, as we were talking about Kags and going to St. Louis tomorrow. We're going to be doing our show there tomorrow, and then at the game, there's a lot of people on that side of the state of Missouri that are saying, wait a second, and politicians as well, that are saying, wait a second, why are we doing money for this side for these teams?
It's like states don't pay for things in other cities.
No, I know, but that's a hurdle. St. Louis wants money for renovations to Busch Stadium, and so you run into this. It's like, well, wait a second, if you're going to approve X amount of dollars for the Chiefs/Royals, what about us? You got politicians that represent that side of the state. I've told you for years, going back to the sports betting stuff, majority of the politicians in Jefferson City are Cardinals fans, not Royals fans. And that is just the reality and the makeup of how Missouri, is.
And probably the struggles that the Royals had for as long as they did.
A majority of the politicians in Jefferson City are not Royals fans. They are Cardinals fans.
That's lame. Another reason to dislike how the Missouri legislature's been going. They're all Cardinals fans. Ugh, Not even, God, you know what? Both times, 2 of the 3 times you're going to see Kags play is against the Cardinals. What was the team they faced in Omaha? They also named the Cardinals?
No, they were playing the Twins affiliate, the St. Paul Saints.
St. Paul Saints, okay. I did see them make a Rich Hill joke in there.
Okay, so Rich Hill, I'm glad you brought that up. So he pitched yesterday, but on Saturday, Dusty's throwing out the first pitch, right? There was 6 people throwing out the first pitch.
It looked like quite a line of people, yeah.
Yeah, so he threw out the first pitch. In fairness to him, they wouldn't let him throw it from the mound. This was not his decision. They said you can't throw it from the mound. So he did not, try to chicken out there. But as we're waiting, you see someone walk towards the dugout. And I swear it looked like it was the pitching coach or the manager. I knew it wasn't the manager because of Jersh, but it looked like the pitching coach. And it was Rich Hill. I mean, he's 45 years old.
He pitched pretty well.
He did, but he absolutely looks like he should be the pitching coach or the coach. It reminded me of the movie The Rookie, Jack Morris or whatever.
Yeah.
Jack Morris? Yeah. Jack Morris?
I think that's right. Sounds right.
It looks just, he looks just like him.
You're like, good for you, Still living that dream, man. That's all that matters. Still living that dream. By the way, Jack Kaggleon's name really leans itself to about 1 million different puns or anything else in there. Because the Royals just sent out their email and said, essentially offering you tickets for the next time the Royals are in town.
Well, yeah, they should be.
Put jackpot. And, we've seen and then there's all the inappropriate ones.
Drew, I don't know if the video is going to be out there. Drew, at the end of our social media video today that Kramer was recording for tomorrow or whatever, Drew made a comment that I don't know if is going to be scrubbed from the record or not.
It's not going to be in the video.
You think he deleted it? Does it?
I want the drop of you saying it.
I re-recorded the actual take after that. It is a popular thing that's going around with social media, though.
People are jacked up, but yeah.
Yeah, but the Yeah.
But we'll leave it at that.
Like it's a
Thank you.
Like because the Royals don't play today, it's a off day for Jack. If it was the other way around, could you see?
So Jack is off.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's it. Correct.
Gotcha.
That is correct.
I'm picking
That
up.
is
Yeah,
correct.
gotcha. Thank you.
That is correct. That is
Thanks
correct.
for that. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 5 minutes.
I will say with Jack Kaggleon, in the brief interaction, admittedly, we spent like 45 minutes with the guy. Obviously, I've seen him interviewed and spoken in other interviews, and we'll have a chance to get to cover him here now in Kansas City. He does not seem like the kind of person that the pressure is going to bother him at all. He seems a lot like Vinny in that way, where it just seems like the level of he's even keel. It doesn't, and like no jump. Because again, his numbers in A-ball in the Arizona Fall League were not like astronomical. They were fine. But then he gets to Double-A, doesn't seem to have any trouble, gets in a little bit of a slump, doesn't even bother him, just goes out and hits 400 after the slump, doesn't care. Gets to Triple-A, immediately successful. Even in the audio you played, Gold, of him getting called up, he's like, oh, so cool. And you can see the moments hitting him, but he's not like, he just seems like the stage won't be too big. And I don't know if like Florida helps him with that because you're playing in College World Series and you're playing in big time games because baseball's tough in that way. A lot of what you do in baseball, if you don't play in college, high level SEC, College World Series baseball is you play in front of 2,500 people in Spokane. You know, you don't, it's not, you don't play, Gold, you've been to multiple minor league parks. I've been to multiple minor league parks. You don't play in front of these huge crowds waiting for the moment. We showed up with 200 people and he knew we were there and he still hit a homer. Like he knows people are there to watch him now. And it's never seemed to bother him.
You know, he's played big time collegiate baseball. He's in 2 College World Series. You know what I mean? He was on a national title team there for Florida. So while it's a different level now going to the big leagues, and this is a brand new experience. Yeah, I mean, this is somebody that is known for a while, that he's that special of a baseball player, had a chance to go get drafted high, and he did. Now had a chance to go get to the big leagues quick. He has, and now we'll see what the rest of his career is going to bring, obviously. But yeah, I'm with you where it doesn't seem like, you know, in terms of like, look, Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't seem fazed by the pressure. Jack Kaggleon, I don't think will be, but he also, I think, has a little bit more of a personality too. So from a marketing standpoint as well, I think there's some more possibility there for Kaggleon if you're just comparing the two and just how they operate. But in terms of like the killer instinct, wanting to win, wanting to you know, that kind of stuff, they both have that.
Yes, agreed. And again, all of this stuff goes to speak a lot to where he's coming from. You got any problem with the number 14? You like number 14? People get so hung up on that. I just don't care. He could wear
I think he's been wearing that for a bit, right?
97, and I wouldn't be offended. Why was he wearing 41 this week?
In Omaha, so the minor league teams.
I was so confused. He's wearing 41.
Minor league teams, you know, they don't necessarily order 60 different numbers for every uniform. Like in Omaha's doing runs a night coming up. They don't have 60 of those. They maybe only have 40. So
you got to wear different numbers.
So he was wearing 41 in Salt Lake. He wore 41 when they had an alternative jersey on Friday night, and then Saturday he was wearing 14 for the normal Storm Chasers uni. There was also a size issue. Like the uniforms, not only do they have, but like you're trying to squeeze in.
He's too tall.
Normally a 14 is not 6'5", 250. You know,
he's a big man.
He is.
Can't necessarily fit in, like, they got him in mediums out there in Omaha. This is why they really called him up. They can't even get him in the right threads.
They got to switch you
Straight
numbers.
to the big leagues.
In fairness, that's
that
not
man
just...
will cuss. We'll get that video out on Tuesday or whenever. The Royal social media of, like, the person with the sewing machine.
For
putting
sure.
the jersey, putting Kaggleon, that's a lot of letters. Pasquantino and Kaggleon.
Shrink the font size on those.
It's a lot of letters.
Shrink the font size. Just
put on a jersey. A lot of letters. That's all. But yes, looking forward to it.
We'll get to the trash of the trash of the day in a second. Also, Chiefs Red half hour coming up in about 10 minutes or so. Drew, you're not off the hook. You are not off the hook. We're going to get to.
Oh boy, you tried the Chiefs Red half hour. We'll get to it there. That's fair.
Yeah, Drew tried to start just a complete fire of takes and just get people all riled up yesterday. We'll get to that during the Chiefs Red half hour. But let's get to the trash.
Trash of the day.
All right, this one has to do with a dating app. We were talking about it on Friday's show a little bit when we had Matt Foster from 41 in. I saw this story over the weekend from, I think it's Mashable. Also, the New York Post put it out. I'll just read you the headline. Tinder tests out new height filter to help people connect more intentionally. So, you have different settings, age.
That's ice cold.
Now you can say, well, all right, so if you're below or you're taller than whatever, no, don't even let them show me as a match. Now, as someone that's 6'3", I don't hate this very often or very much
But
at all.
I'll just say,
this could be good for me. This could be good for me.
But here's the problem women are not
I'm not
saying.
on Tinder, though, anymore.
I told you maybe a month ago, there's this man on the street stuff where they'll be like, all right, what's your dream man?
Mm-hmm.
And she'll be like, he makes $200,000.
Oh, yeah.
He's 6'3", no kids. And then this guy will run all the numbers and be like, all right, and he's got to live in the same city as me. And I'll run all the numbers. He's like, congratulations, there's one man in the whole city you can date. Good luck. And she's like, ugh. I think what they're going to find out, Gold, is what percentage of the population is above, let's say, 6'3"? What percentage of the population is above 6'2"? Not many. You're going to get on this dating app thinking you're lowering your search results.
Here we go, though. This
You're
is
the
the
same
kicker.
5 dudes.
So this is the kicker. One, I told you, we had a conversation about the apps. Tinder's like the trashiest one that's
Yeah,
out
you
there
did say
now.
that.
So no more Tinder. But this function, this height function, is only available to users who subscribe to something called Tinder Platinum, which
they want
is
you to
a
pay for it.
premium tier. You know how much they're charging for this?
Wait,
$39 a month.
Wait, you have to pay for Tinder now?
For this
$40.
premium.
What does this offer besides
Along
sorting
with-
by height?
Along with the new height option, not to be confused with new heights, the new height option, the tier also includes prioritized likes, a specific interest filter, and a message before you match function. Who's paying $40 to be on Tinder?
Who's
40
paying money,
bucks?
period?
Well, yeah, you don't have to pay, but this is just an option. Meanwhile,
$40 is steep.
So the height thing, I just... Yeah.
So I
I mean, if you're that one, just get on like the Roger, whatever that one is, like where you date like celebrities.
The
Just
what?
There's like, what's the name of the one?
I don't know.
There's an app to date celebrities? That seems fake.
No, it's very real.
Like only celebrity gets to be invited?
The guy from Stranger Things.
How do I get into this world?
Dude, the guy who was on Stranger Things, David Harbour, he got busted cheating on his wife on it. Raya. R-A-Y-A.
You have to be invite only.
Exclusive dating app
Yes.
known for its high-profile user base, including celebrities, artists, and influencers.
Hey.
Require an
you just
application
gotta
and
get there,
approval
Gold.
process.
Yeah, there's no way I'm getting accepted into
We
this
just gotta
world.
get you there, Gold. We just got to get you there.
The Hallmark movie may not be strong
Allegedly,
enough.
by the way, on David Harbour.
The Hallmark movies might not be good enough.
I did see somebody made a comment of somebody said, well, if they get height, can there be weight requirements as well?
They're not going to
Which
offer that.
obviously is never going to be offered.
They're never going to offer that.
Correct.
Plus,
By the
people would
way-
lie. People would just lie.
What a text. 816. I'm 6'3", my girlfriend's 5'1". People care too much about height. That's a man dating a smaller woman. Nobody cares about height that way. No one's ever complained about that. The
It's more
question
of
is,
a-
would you date someone 7 foot, not 5'1"?
But also, it is
Yes, sure, go ahead.
Typically, women want height requirements. Men, I don't think that they're like.
Yeah, the question is, would Gold date a 7-footer, not would he date someone 5'1"?
It's a hell of a question. Would you?
The answer is no.
Okay.
That's too tall? What about 6'5"?
No.
6'3"?
No.
So anybody
Not even your height?
So they have to
Yeah.
be shorter than you. is
A
your
little
requirement.
bit shorter.
How much
yeah.
shorter? 5'11" work?
No taller than, I would say no taller than 6 foot.
Okay, 6 foot's your max.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But Drew's right. I think that there's plenty of women out there, like, if a guy is shorter than 5'10", 5'11", they're like, I'm out.
Oh, yeah.
I think that happens.
Yeah, I'm sure it does.
Anyway.
Only 3.9% of men in the U.S. are 6'2" or taller. by the way.
Man,
I'm
yeah,
part
you're
of the 3.9%.
So, like, I'm
you're
just going to
really
tell.
reducing the pool.
I'm
then,
just
Cody.
gonna. That's what I'm saying. They're gonna have like
Definitely
7 people in Kansas City to date. It's gonna be Alex, all the Royals baseball players who are taller in committed relationships. So that's it. Just Alex. The other 3% play
Wow.
for the Royals or Chiefs.
Lucky you.
So unless Travis Kelce becomes single out of nowhere, or one of the other offensive, like Creed Humphrey's available,
there's no NBA
he's
team,
he's
so,
engaged
yeah.
or in a serious relationship. I'm not even kidding. Alex might be the only non-athlete 6'2" person. I'm joking. obviously.
Yeah.
D'Andre Rieger's also hooked up. So, like, sorry.
Hey, well, depending on how far the distance is and you stretch it, you could put a couple in the KU basketball player. I mean, you're starting to, if you stretch the distance out.
I don't think any of them need to
be.
be on a dating app.
Hey, you never know.
I think they're doing
It's-
just fine.
It's college. I'm sure that they'll.
I think they're doing
I'm sure they're okay, but you never
just
know.
fine on the old KU basketball team.
That means it's more people in Kansas City. Let's say the Kansas City metro area, including surrounding areas, is 2 million people, which is shooting high. That'd be 78,000 people in the area who'd be that tall. But We know that 70% of people are in a committed relationship. When you're getting down, you're like narrowing the field pretty significantly.
Yeah.
Then they got to be on the apps.
That's the trash of the day. All right, up next.
Doing way too much thinking about
We'll
this.
get to the Chiefs Red half hour, including Drew trying to start fights on social media in the middle of the afternoon, a nice Sunday, and for some reason chose violence. That's next.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Going out to eat just got a serious upgrade, Kansas City. 30 Hop is your new go-to. An American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. Now open in Lee Summit and just opened at Miriam's Grand Station. As the proud lunch partner of the Cody and Gold Show, 30 Hop truly has something for everyone. Stop in for lunch, stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
Climate Control has been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle the scorching hot summer. Schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control heating, cooling, and plumbing.
Guys, let's talk about your prostate. If an enlarged prostate has you rushing to the nearest bathroom, losing sleep, or just feeling frustrated because you can't go when you need to, it's time to do something about it. Clarity Care offers prostate artery embolization, a minimally invasive procedure that shrinks the prostate and relieves symptoms. It's a simple office treatment that can help you sleep better, be comfortable, and feel more in control. Go to kcprostate.com to learn more. Clarity Care. No surgery, just relief.
Summer savings are here at Going Gone by Dick's Sporting Goods. Score up to 70% off styles from top brands like Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Kalia, and more. Discover new markdowns and arrivals every week. Hurry in and save big on summer styles at your Going Gone.
Underdog just became one of the best places to make entries during playoff basketball. While they score buckets, you could score cash on Underdog. Underdog is a leading place to make all of your sports selections, and you can play now in your state. Millions of fans have already won billions making plays on Underdog. Will you be next? To play, all you have to do is download the app and choose whether a player will go higher or lower on one of their stats. You can choose from things like points, assists, and so much more. And once your entry feels good, you can play with as little as $1. And if you get everything right, you could win up to 1,000 times your money. I love playing on the Underdog app, and I love combining entries from multiple sports into one selection. So download the Underdog app now, sign up with promo code BOB to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit with promo code BOB. Must be 18 and over and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. But what if you could bank that equity right now? With TrueHold, you could sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. TrueHold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since TrueHold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit TrueHold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9393 or visit TrueHold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's TrueHold.com.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now, there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across our multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here. Renner Garage Door has proudly served KC for nearly 70 years. Get your free estimate today, RENNER, forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
That's right. It is the Chiefs Red Half Hour.
Brought to you by All Weather Decks. Of course, you know at allweatherdecks.net, Kansas City's most respected deck builder.
So I was just getting back into town from Omaha yesterday.
Trying to relax.
Weather was beautiful. Finally feels like summer, right? You're getting the heat. You walk out, you really feel the heat. You're having a good Sunday. You're watching the Royals game. Unfortunately, they lose, but it's a tightly contested game. You're getting great pitching yet again from Chris Bubich. At that time, we didn't know Kags was called up yet, but I had a good weekend. I was feeling good. Then I had a few people tag me in a tweet. I'm like, what is going on? What is this? And I saw Drew's name. I'm like, what is he tweeting about? So then I did some digging, and Drew decided to try to start fights with people on Twitter yesterday. That's what happened. He chose violence on a nice Sunday.
I didn't tell people to respond. I never tagged people. I didn't tag you guys.
Chose some violence. I think it's very, very clear. And
I knew it would irritate some people when I said it.
So you did. See, so you chose that path. Let me pull up the exact tweet, the original tweet. Then you responded to a bunch of people going back and forth.
I was surprised at how many people responded, actually.
You knew.
Were you?
I was
like
very
throwing
surprised.
a grenade in and surprised things blow up.
Correct.
You quote tweeted a tweet. So Warren Sharp had sent out a tweet that said, Bengals offensive line ranked pass block win rate by year.
Horrendously
They were
bad.
30th, 27th, 32nd. You quote tweet that and said, I'll get criticized tomorrow. But a real thing that's discussed in KC is bad left tackle play affecting Mahomes' ability to play well. Burrow put up league-leading numbers behind the worst O-line in football in 24 and nearly won a Super Bowl with the third worst. That prompted people to go after you. Now, two things real quick. We can get into like the actual conversation about it. What prompted this? Why did you choose this path? In June for you to try to bring up a debate between Burrow and Mahomes, what prompted you to do this? And then you sent out a tweet later after you already fired the grenade or threw the grenade out there. Then you were like, Oh, I'm not going to even bring it up on the show tomorrow. They'll bring it up as if you didn't bring it up to begin with.
I knew I'm not. I was not going. I was going to keep it as a social media thing, and if it came up on the show, it wasn't going to be me that brought it up. So now it's coming up on the show. So originally, and we've talked about this. I don't know what spurred me on as much as I saw this tweet. I think it was on Friday or Saturday. I was like, I'm not going to say anything. And then I saw it again on Sunday. I was like, sure. Why not? I totally,
you were feeling good. Were you drinking yesterday?
Let's do it.
Were you drinking yesterday? Were you still riding high from your Pacers going to the finals? What was going on?
That's something. Joe, shout out to Joe. He suggested that I saw the Pacers win, and all of a sudden I started firing takes off. Puffing my chest out.
So,
no, I was totally sober yesterday.
So you chose that path. Okay. The actual argument, though, like we've gone over this, like the whole nearly won a Super Bowl. I guess the Chiefs nearly three-peated. Then, like, there's no nearly won a Super Bowl
every year. All 7 years he's been the starter.
The premise of the tweet, I think, is not to tear anybody down more than it is of. I think that Joe Burrow deserves more respect for what he did with
Who
how
doesn't
bad
respect him in terms, like even me,
even how bad the offensive line is.
Even myself, who gives you a very hard time about the Bengals and who obviously pokes fun about Joe Burrow whining all the time and stuff, has admitted that he's my third best quarterback in football. That's not being a hater. I say the third best quarterback in football. Josh Allen's 2, Burrow's 3, Lamar's 4. Some would even say Lamar should be 3.
I have Lamar 3.
But I'd
still have Burrow in the top 5.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy.
I still think
what do you want people to say about Joe Burrow? Because people last year, if anything, they all were whining and saying, poor Joey doesn't have a defense. What do you... Your argument is that Mahomes should be doing more with his offensive line because Joe Burrow did more? No, he didn't.
As a matter of fact, Matt Verderame said that he referenced the Bengals a few months ago in terms of how they stretch the field, even amidst a terrible offensive line. And I think that's
we have Jamar Chase, not Sky Moore. I'm sure that's pretty easy.
I think that, again, because this goes back to previous conversations in which on this show we've discussed maybe the offensive line is affecting Mahomes and how he's looked. I don't think it's
but
the
last
offensive...
week, we both admitted, you and I both said that we think that the weapons were a more important part for their lack of offense last year than the line.
Which is where that leads me to the reason why I mentioned the whole talking point in Kansas City thing. I think the point that irritates me more, the reason I sent the tweet is because the left tackle play shouldn't be the excuse for Patrick Mahomes. The wide receivers, you and I agree, Cody, and this year, hopefully everybody stays healthy, and we're going to see. But the idea that the left tackle play in the offensive line is what's causing the problems for Patrick Mahomes, I call a little bit of BS on it because
here's the only problem with that point, I think, at least. Mahomes has had 5 different left tackles in the Super Bowls, and he's won 3. So
he's not using it as a crutch or an excuse.
Nobody's using it. It hasn't. It's prevented him from three-peating, sure, I guess, but he's won 3 rings during it. If he hadn't won a ring and we were all saying it's the O-line's fault, then I think your tweet makes sense, your point makes sense. He's won 3 rings. I don't think anybody's claiming like that has prevented him from doing everything. It's saying that's part of the equation. And if we're going to say that Joe Burrow almost won a Super Bowl, well, then Mahomes almost three-peated. And then the last point I'll make would be Patrick Mahomes literally had the same left tackle as Joe Burrow and won a Super Bowl, as in Orlando Brown Jr. The exact same left tackle.
And the year he had the worst defense in the league, he went to the playoffs and lost to Tom Brady in the AFC title game.
I understand, but the thing that it bothers me a little bit because we're talking about, I'm talking about individual quarterback play. I'm not talking about the team. Like the Chiefs have always been the better team. They've always been the better organization, but let me calm down because if I say the Bengals have been a worse organization, people will say that's an excuse. And then it is, not. So I'm going to try to stay away from the excuse part of it. I'm just telling you, based on the numbers.
But the only 2 numbers that were bad are the last 2 years. There's no other numbers in which the left tackle play stopped Patrick Mahomes from playing great football.
Correct, which is where I think that, because we've gotten into this conversation here over the last ever since I've been here, really, the last year and a half, is the play of Patrick Mahomes is not being up to the quote-unquote national standard.
Okay, yep.
Hence the reason why what Pro Football Focus had him at 8, I believe. I think that this year is going to determine in regards to how we view Patrick Mahomes as an individual quarterback, because they've done everything that they can do with the offensive line at this point to be as good as they can be. We'll see if Josh Simmons works out. Hopefully so, for Patrick Mahomes' sake and for all you Chiefs fans' sake. But if the wide receiver room is healthy, And Patrick Mahomes still, again, this goes back to our conversation last week, puts up similar numbers.
I don't think he will, though.
I don't think he will. Again, if he's the quarterback that we all think he is, then he shouldn't have the same season. But if he does, then I think it might turn into a real conversation of, is it Mahomes? Is it the way the offense runs? But why should the offense be the way that it has been the last 2 years when you've got Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback?
I understand you're trying to make it about individual, like comparing stats to Joe Burrow and Mahomes. And
3 years ago, Mahomes had the identical season.
We would all admit that Mahomes statistically, last year wasn't his best season. But like what you're saying, like I think that depending on this season, people are going to feel different about Mahomes. What if they win 15 games and lose in the Super Bowl? Then we're going to feel different. I won't.
We're not talking about team.
Drew, I don't care what the stats are for Mahomes if they win 14 games and go to a Super Bowl, win or lose. I truly, I do not give up. I don't. And most people don't.
As you shouldn't. As Chiefs fans, you just want to win the Super Bowl. And in the end, I technically want to win the Super Bowl as well.
Like Joe Burrow can win the fantasy football crown every year. That's fine. Nobody cares if he puts up big numbers. Ultimately, you don't care even. You want a ring finally for your Bengals.
But correct. But I think that as soon as
it just doesn't matter.
But as soon as I say that, then because the people will go on and they'll say, well, he rode the coattails of his defense and he rode the coattails of his wide receivers, where I'm just making the point, and I'm never going to win this argument. Why can't we say the same thing about Patrick Mahomes last season or the season before that they won the Super Bowl and the defense was elite in every single category? I think it's fair to say that the defense carried the offense and Patrick Mahomes to that Super Bowl 2 years ago, but I don't think people are ready to have that conversation.
The thing is, I don't think you can win any Super Bowl without high-level quarterback play.
Agreed.
And over the last 3 years, statistically, Drew, and to your point, you're like, well, Joe Burrow deserves more credit. Well, they both have problems on their team, but one guy keeps winning, and they have put up over the last 3 seasons, not kidding, so you're saying down statistical years. So I included 2 bad years from Patrick Mahomes. Nearly identical statistics over the last 3 years between the two of them. 13,000 yards for Patrick Mahomes, only 11,000 for Joe Burrow.
How many less games does Joe Burrow play?
That doesn't matter. That's part of his job, his ass has to be on the field. One way or the other, he has to be on the field. And it's only 5 less games. It's not like something significant. 93 total touchdowns for Joe Burrow, 94 passing, by the way. Mahomes has quite a bit more rushing than Joe Burrow in that time. 27 interceptions and 31 interceptions. I mean, they're nearly statistically identical quarterbacks. So if the argument is Joe Burrow deserves more credit for statistically putting up numbers, Mahomes has been putting up the same numbers, but also winning. He's continued the other part. And I know you're saying that's a team stat. And look, QB wins is not a good way to judge a quarterback.
Correct, and I'm going to avoid it because as soon as I say, well, they have Brett Veach in the Bengals, that's an excuse for Drew's Bengals.
It's driving it further down. I'm not saying Joe Burrow is responsible for everything that happens on the field. He does play for a dysfunctional organization. Do I think Joe Burrow would have won a Super Bowl if Andy Reid was his head coach this whole time? Probably.
Yeah, but this is why. But again, this is why nobody doesn't think Joe Burrow's good. I think he's the 3rd best quarterback in football. But I guess.
I think it's more of it's not even a Mahomes thing as much as it is. The reason why I said Mahomes is because, of course, I work in Kansas City. I knew it would get people riled up. I think for what Joe Burrow has had to go through regarding the offensive line, I don't think Josh Allen
he's had to go through. Again, we're acting like this guy is in the worst situation in NFL history. How is he doing it? He has had such terrible atmosphere to what are we doing? I know you're talking. That's crazy to me. Nobody else has had better number 1, number 2 receivers during the first 5 years of their NFL career, I would argue, than one Joe Burrow.
I don't think Josh Allen would have the career that Joe Burrow has. Mind you, Joe Burrow has beaten Josh Allen head-to-head every time he's played.
So now we want to talk wins.
No. I'm not using that as the example. I'm saying Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson would not be able to do what Joe Burrow has done in the current settings that they have, that he's had.
Okay. All right.
In terms of whether it be
you're
team
saying
success,
he's had the worst. You're saying he's had the
success,
worst circumstances out of Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes.
In regards, and I know that the weapons are there, but he is getting.
Yeah, that's the real tough part of your argument.
I get, and I understand that.
Second best
in fairness, Josh Allen has had Stephon Diggs, where Lamar Jackson is the one where it's really unfair to him in terms of the weapons. But regarding offensive line, in particular,
all right.
I think that's where Joe Burrow, being the most accurate quarterback in the league, amidst getting hit the quickest and the most, for him to still make a Super Bowl in that run where he got sacked 75 times in the season, nobody else could do that.
Yeah. That's why I say he's Dan Marino.
But
he's going to be Dan Marino.
Look, which is a team deal as well. I just think it's very fun to poke fun.
Well, Dan Marino's a Hall of Famer, so you got that.
I think Joe Burrow will be a Hall of Famer as well.
I agree.
I think it's fun to poke fun because I know that it triggers people because Joe Burrow broke your hearts one time. You guys can never.
That doesn't really.
You guys can never.
Chiefs have won 3 rings,
it.
and that was also our. You know how many years? You know how many years it's been? We're about to be in. We're about to have the 2025-2026 season.
That's right.
Okay.
I can't be bothered by a quarterback who has started in the NFL 7 years and has played in the Super Bowl in 5 of them.
Hey, so this is turning into a Burrow half hour. I told you I would keep it a social media thing unless we brought it up, but I knew it was going to come up.
We work in radio.
I know.
You're a producer for a radio show in Kansas City. If you tweet something about Mahomes and Burrow, you can't then say well, I'm not going to bring it up on my radio show I produce.
Oh no, I know that's part of the fun. That's part of the fun. I'm poking fun because I know it's going to come up. It's all part of the fun.
All right.
I'm excited for the season. Obviously, they're not going to play each other during the regular season. They might not play each other at all. Who knows in 2025, 2026.
That's Cincinnati. That's up to Cincinnati. That's a team that's got to figure its way to the postseason again.
I'm just saying.
All right. Let's take a look at, you mentioned Brett Veach because you mentioned it as it relates to your own general manager there in Cincinnati. So fair to take a look at him. Our friends over at Arrowhead Pride, they had looked back at all of the 2024 roster trades, which I always think brings back to the same thought. How much do we trust Brett Veach when it comes to the trade department, right, Gold? Okay, let's see what he did. As a reminder, here are the ones he made. He traded L'Jarius Sneed, which I don't think anybody's looking back and being like, oh, no, what did we do there? We now know that pick has led to a defensive lineman in this year's draft. Was that the Norman Lott or the Gelati pick? Gelati? I think that was the Gelati pick. Outside of that, the Cam Thomas, nobody ever remembers that. They acquired him from the Cardinals for a 7th-round pick. He did not get on the field. Peyton Hendershot, who I most remember for getting in a slight scuffle.
Sideline.
Sideline scuffle. DeAndre Hopkins, who they traded for, obviously what ended up being a 5th-round pick because he did not stay on the field. And Josh Uche, who did not get on the field. If I list all those out, doesn't exactly look gangbusters other than L'Jarius Sneed one, which you're like, yeah, that's a hit. Couldn't get on the field, stayed hurt, and you got a top of the 3rd-round pick. You traded with the right team. Kudos. The rest, I guess, are they just dart throws so I ignore it? My only issue is that in the attempt for the three-peat, he took a lot of, dart throws, and he couldn't find it in the trade department. There's part of me with Brett Veach, who I think he likes to trade a lot, and in the NFL, it's a more difficult thing to do, so they always feel like small or 3rd or 4th or 5th-round picks, so you're not quite sure which way it should go. I still feel pretty confident in his ability to make the trades. It's just these small ones, I feel like we're just wasting our time. You don't need to bring in Josh Uche. That wasn't doing anything for the team, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, look.
The big one he nailed.
Correct. I would say when you look at how they've operated, they have always been willing to go in their mind, go and fix the quote-unquote problem in season. I mean, last year, you mentioned one that didn't work, right? Uche just never got on the field, but Kareem Hunt even, it wasn't a trade, and you can say there's not a ton of risk in bringing a guy in off the street, but still, they recognized once Pacheco was down, and they didn't feel good enough about Carson Steele, and so they went out and brought in Kareem Hunt. They maintained that relationship. They were willing to deal with that. There was a little bit of a PR thing they had to handle at the very beginning of it, and then ultimately everybody moved on, right? And so they've been willing to make moves like that have I don't think necessarily the financial risk, but there's risk in other ways. For them, the way they approached the draft this past year, if you're asking, hey, the ability to make a trade, on draft day, we have seen time and time again that's definitely where he has thrived.
Yeah, and that's really what stands out. It's the in-season trades I feel like I'm not really moved by. I'm like, it's whatever. It doesn't really do anything. And I get that they're small moves, right? Uche, it's what did you see in him? You didn't even put him on the field. You traded for him because you needed defensive line help. You got him in there and you're like, I'm fine. And Hopkins had his couple of moments, right? They were so Hopkins wouldn't always make sense to me. After all the injuries, they were so desperate for one professional wide receiver. I'll never blame them for that move. And none of these, obviously, for the same reason we're just talking about Drew, set them back in some way that prevents them from getting to a Super Bowl or accomplishing their goals or those things. He does so many other things perfect. It's just it's always trying to figure out where the areas do you think Brett Veach thinks he needs to improve. And I'd say these small in-season trades, it'd be hard not to think this is a place that I could do better at.
Yeah, obviously, evaluating left tackle talent would be something people would text in immediately.
Sure.
Understandably so. They have not thrived there, to say the least. And at some point, you got to hit on it. And hopefully, they did this time with Josh Simmons.
I saw a bunch of people. I just saw a bunch of people making fun of Mike Tannenbaum over the weekend because he was saying, "I'm not sure Caleb Williams. I don't think Caleb Williams is a star." And then people pointed out all the quarterbacks he drafted while he was a general manager, and it was quite bad.
I'm sure.
He took so many bad quarterbacks.
I'm sure. I would say the last thing on the in-season trade thing, though, I think those are very difficult to pull off for any franchise. There's a player that's available in season for a reason. Either they're on a team that's not going anywhere, an expiring contract or something. You got a disgruntled player. You got a player that you're basically desperate if you're making an in-season trade, I would argue. Right? Any team that makes a trade in season, there's some desperation involved there on on the team that's trading that player away because they need him out. In Beckham's case a couple years ago, or there's desperation on you who is trying to seek that solution. And I will be interested to see what D-Hop does this year in Baltimore because, you're right. We saw a flash or two here in Kansas City. Most people now think maybe he's done. I'll be really interested to see what he does as their number 2, number 3. What are they asking him to be there in Baltimore,
I mean, again, I think at this point, if you're still counting on some resurgence year, it's probably not coming. But I go back and last year's offense, it's as frustrating as it was, it makes sense that it was frustrating. They lost 3 wide receivers for almost the entire year. I mean, you can't lose and then try to replace one with an aging DeAndre Hopkins as an effort to try to hold court until Xavier Worthy could come around. That's just asking a lot of anybody on an offensive end. And I appreciate that they tried. I think part of last year was, honestly, this is why I take them a little bit with a grain of salt. Not the L'Jarius Sneed one. All the other in-season trades were, I think, for the desperate quest of the never-yet-seen three-peat. And damn it if it didn't get them close, right? They got all the way to the Super Bowl in a 15-win regular season. They got their ass kicked there, but they got all the way to the Super Bowl. They had a real chance at it. They just came up short. And I don't blame them for trying to go all in on a three-peat, and I don't think you do either. It makes a lot of sense.
No, and I still just think I'd have to go back and look at other teams, but in-season trades are very, very difficult to find someone to especially offensively with Andy Reid's system, to come in and have a monster impact or a significant impact. I just think it's a really tough spot for a player in week 10. I know we all get tired of training camp after a while, but there is a reason why training camp exists. I know we all
to get familiarized with
there's a reason why OTAs exist. As boring as they might be for all of us on the outside, there is a reason why they do it.
I think it matters more. It's easier to implant yourself in a baseball team because it's an individual sport played as a team. Your job is your job. Your job is to play right field. Your job is to hit. You're not fundamentally, no matter where they put you, you are asked and tasked to do the same things, unless you're getting traded to the Red Sox and you got to figure out the wall. Outside of that, you are, you're pretty much doing the same thing. In football, your job could be so different depending on which team you land with, depending on which defense you get put on, depending on the coordinator's scheme. There's so many things that could fundamentally change about the job you're asked to do. You might just be asked to do a different job. In baseball, it's just not the case. You're asked to, when you're in the lineup, to hit, and when you're in the field, to field. The ground ball isn't different depending on the impact. So it's a little bit tough, but I'm always curious with it because Brett Veach is kind of an interesting figure in Kansas City because there are people who seem to be mad at Brett Veach. And I'm like, I'm not mad at Brett Veach. It's more just it's like the way I view Patrick Mahomes. I'm seeking perfection because perfection might mean accomplishing things that never get accomplished in the sport. Things they've already accomplished, being a dynasty and this other stuff. I'm seeking all-time greatness. That's why I nitpick with Brett Veach. I wouldn't trade Brett Veach for any GM. Not based on his familiarity with the roster. If it had to be a one-for-one trade, I would not take a single GM over Brett Veach right now. Would you?
I wouldn't. I know people
nationally.
People would say Howie Roseman. Everybody loves him, but I would say based on the relationship that he has, with the current structure with Clark Hunt, with Andy Reid, with Patrick Mahomes and Brett Veach and everybody involved there, what they have going is as good as anything in the National Football League. I would say you say nitpicking. I think right now the two major questions that I have from this point till middle of the season is: did they find their left tackle, the future?
That's not nitpicking. That's a real complaint.
Did they find that? Whether it's Jalen Moore or Josh Simmons. And then the other one is you were willing to trade Joe Thuney. You signed, or you're trying to sign Trey Smith. You tagged him, and he signed the franchise tag. you have to get that extension done. If you don't, it was a big whiff.
Yeah,
I think they're still going to get it done. They have
I do
till
too.
middle of July, so there's no need to panic yet. We're still over a month and a half away from the real deadline, and deadline spurs action. But you can't move on from Joe Thuney unless you were confident you're getting a long-term deal done with Trey Smith. And I think they still are. I think they still are confident. But that has to get done. Otherwise, it was a big mistake.
But again, I kind of anticipating it getting done. When they want to sign somebody, if they ever had any trouble like signing somebody they wanted to sign, they didn't. Let's be honest, they didn't want to sign Orlando Brown Jr. That's why they let him walk. And this is not just maybe they did because they offered him some contract and they've offered some other deals that didn't eventually get taken. So want to sign, but a strong desire to sign. As in, we franchise tag you like Chris Jones. I feel like there's a variance of we will sign you at the right price and we want to sign you under any circumstances. We've already talked about this. In retrospect, one of the absolute missteps from Brett Veach over the last 3 years is letting Orlando Brown Jr. walk. Should have just figured out, and I understand he ended up choosing less money. Although I'd make the argument, I don't think Orlando Brown Jr. chose less money. I think Orlando Brown Jr. thought he'd get more money on the free agency market. The market didn't bear that. The Chiefs had already moved on to their options at left tackle that did not include him. Therefore, he took a discount because that was the money available. Chiefs should have just paid him. Orlando Brown Jr. should have just taken the check.
But can you believe how much Joe Burrow overcame having Orlando Brown Jr. at his left tackle? It's amazing how he was able to do that. Up next, we will get to what's trending.
That's right.
We'll talk more about Kags, who's getting called up to the big leagues.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
We're going to go watch Kags play tomorrow in St. Louis. Whole show's heading down there, me and Gold. I think Dusty from the morning show's going there too. But then I'm like, how am I going to watch these games on the road? From my deck. And you could have your dream deck built by All Weather Decks. Allweatherdecks.net or 913-206-1974 to schedule a free estimate today. Check out their award-winning Super Service Award, 24-time award-winning from Angie's List Super Service Award. Check out their work. Check out their showroom. See over on the website the kind of projects they can do for you. And I mean everything. Wood decks, composites, pergolas, fire pits, stone masonry, cover decks. If you want that dream outdoor space for summer, and summer's here, it felt like it this weekend, then don't look at your ratty deck and instead get the work done. That's allweatherdecks.net or 913-206-1974.
Do you know a coach who goes above and beyond? The Royals, the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation, and Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City are recognizing those impactful men and women. Nominate your high school coach at royals.com/coaches with character.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's, all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Right now, get a $15 gift card after rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro refrigerant products at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
At Shane Company, we know getting engaged is a big decision. But once you know, you know. That's the way our customers feel when they choose a Shane Company engagement ring. They walk into a warm welcome and walk out with their dream ring, knowing they got it right. For almost 100 years, we've been offering personalized shopping experiences. And we're in it way past the honeymoon, with a free lifetime warranty that includes the center stone, cleanings, repairs, and resizing for life. Shop with us at shaneco.com or at your neighborhood store. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals starting up this week. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. If you want to check a player's consistency during the playoffs, or maybe they've been flirting with that potential triple-double, get the latest stats right inside the app and see who's heating up. And after the tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. If you don't already have FanDuel, it's not too late to get on the action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to join today. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonuses should not withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Ring the bell. We've done it again. Golden Oak Lending has lowered rates to 4.875 fixed. Lower your monthly payment, get cash out, pay off credit cards, and best of all, make no mortgage payments for 2 months. Lock in this incredible 4.875 rate and get your cash in as little as 14 days. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, cured my blues.
5.81 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Climate Control has been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle the scorching hot summer. Schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control heating, cooling, and plumbing.
The best moments in life weren't meant to sit in a box, gathering dust in the attic, or stuck on outdated tapes. They're meant to be seen, heard, and shared again and again. That's why Legacy Box exists, to help you preserve and relive your family's history. Imagine being able to text a video of your grandparents to your kids, or share a childhood memory with your siblings in seconds. Legacy Box makes it that easy. Just fill your Legacy Box with all your analog media. Send it to our headquarters in Tennessee, where we digitize everything by hand. And in just a few weeks, we'll send back your originals, digitized, preserved, and stored in the cloud, so you can easily stream, download, and share your memories anytime, anywhere. Join the millions of families that have trusted Legacy Box. Go to legacybox.com/value for 50% off. That's legacybox.com/value for 50% off.
Everyone has a fave Wendy's Frosty flavor. And when you're choosing from chocolate or vanilla, it's not that hard. But now there's all new Frosty Swirls and Frosty Fusions. So try picking your fave from Oreo Brownie Fusion, Pop-Tarts Strawberry Fusion, Strawberry Swirl, Brownie Batter Swirl, Caramel Swirl, and Caramel Crunch Fusion. Not so easy now, huh? For a fresh way to Frosty, gotta be Wendy's. Open till midnight or later.
At participating U.S. Wendy's, hours may vary by location. Oreo is a trademark of Mondelez International Group. Pop-Tarts is a trademark of Kellogg North America Co., LLC. Used with permission.
Not available in all states. Rates vary. Building a financial safety net for your family can be tough. But with term life insurance through Ethos, you can have peace of mind that they can pay the mortgage and other bills if something happens to you. With coverage in as little as 10 minutes, all online, Ethos finds your best rate across our multiple trusted carriers. Some policies as low as $1 a day billed monthly. And even in uncertain times, your term life insurance rates and payout don't change. Get a free quote at ethos.com/win. That's ethos.com/win.
What's up, KC? This is Lucas Ursig on your way home from the ballpark. Make sure to listen to Vern's post-game show right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
What's Trending is presented by Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. Obviously, we start with the news of the day. Jack Kaggleon has been called up from AAA Omaha. He will make his big league debut tomorrow night in St. Louis as the Royals take on the Cardinals, a 6:45 first pitch. We'll play you some of the audio again of Jack getting called up. Those videos are always so cool when somebody has that special moment, and you have that on social media if you want to see the video, but we'll play some of the audio of it. But it has finally happened. Jack Kaggleon is headed to the big leagues. We're going to talk more about how we got to this point in time and what prompted the move now, why is today the day, and last night, I guess, the day, and tomorrow going to be the debut for him.
Next up, I watched training. The Royals did drop 2 of 3 against the Tigers over the weekend. Obviously, only gave up 1 run yesterday, but lost that game 1-0 after a 1-0 win against Scoopville on Saturday. So an interesting weekend to say the least. The Royals offense obviously continues to struggle. Part of the reason, as Alex mentioned, they're probably making that move for Jack Kaggleon. The Royals now 2 games above 500 after the weekend set against the Tigers. Off today, start their series obviously tomorrow against the Cardinals.
Next up, unfortunately, not the weekend both K-State or KU fans were hoping for, both eliminated from the NCAA baseball tournament for Kansas. I would say far even more disappointing considering the great year that they had, but they weren't able to get a single win over the weekend. Obviously, double elimination, Fayetteville Regional, but they lost their first game to Creighton, got blown out, and then they were huge favorites against North Dakota State. You figured they could at least get that one. They ended up dropping that as well, so they did not win a single game there at the regional.
Both no-showed. A real bummer. I was looking forward to maybe a local Gold. I kind of thought maybe you'd find a reason to get back up to Omaha if for some reason Kansas had made it. Unfortunately for them.
I mean, KU didn't even get to play Arkansas. I mean, K-State at least got to the point where they were playing Texas in the Austin Regional. KU was played Creighton and North Dakota State and couldn't get a win.
Nope.
But that's what's fun about the college baseball tournament. I mean, the number 1 team overall, Vandy, they're already out too. They're the first top seed to get eliminated.
Happens every year. It's a kind of, baseball is kind of it's a variable sport, at least to say. Next up on what training, the NBA Finals are set. The Pacers did eventually eliminate the Knicks over the weekend, so they'll take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. That series will start on Thursday. So maybe Drew's bandwagon team, the Pacers, they'll be ready to go.
Relax.
I still don't have a photo of you at a Pacers game.
Did you see a there's a photo.
There's a photo out there.
There's
for
a
real?
photo. Now, it's not him at a game.
It's not me at a game.
Drew put a photo on Instagram.
Jalen Rose pinstripe.
Cody.
The Jalen Rose pinstripe Pacers jersey.
Saw this on the drive back with Dusty yesterday from Omaha. And it's an incredible photo. It's an incredible photo of Drew in a Pacers uni.
Little kid.
How old were you thinking that?
Probably 5 or 6.
You think that young?
When Jalen Rose was playing,
you think that young in that photo?
I probably because Jalen Rose played from 96 to 01, I think, or 02 with the Pacers. So, and I would have been 7 in 02. So maybe I was like 6 or 7, but not too much older than that, I would guess.
No, I hope your Pacers win. I don't have any issue with your Pacers.
I'm so excited. I think this. If you like basketball, then this series was the best possible outcome for you. I think the 2 best teams since the All-Star break, period, in the league.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm curious if anyone can actually put up a fight against the Thunder. They have made this look
very tough.
Little too easy, at least on this end. And that's just one of those years where they've been the best team all season long.
Oh, yeah.
So, it hasn't been a mystery who the best team in basketball has been. It's been the Thunder.
That is what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Don't forget, it is a Monday, a great day in KC. If you're trying to figure out what to do for lunch, go see our friends over at 30 Hop. They're our Monday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. They've got $5.99 classic burgers on Monday. 30 Hop is your new go-to. An American bar, a kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, great patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. For those of you around the Lee Summit area, you know all about 30 Hop. Also, they got a brand new location in Merriam, right down the street from us there in Grand Station. They're a proud lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Stop in for lunch. Stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
Great spot. Go check them out. Like you said, 30hop.com if you want to take a look at that menu.
So Kags is up, man. It finally has happened. We've been talking about this.
We've been still earlier than I thought.
Well, it's still finally because we've been talking about.
Sure,
this is the express timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I think when we had JJ Piccolo on a week or two ago, and he's expected maybe to join us tomorrow, we'll see. The timeline that he's been on since being drafted has still been best case scenario stuff. He's forced the issue from maybe being a July or August call up to then it became pretty clear after his first week in AAA that no, June's a real possibility. So then he continued to hit this week in Omaha, but also the big league team had its struggles offensively again, as they have all year, and lost a pair of 1-0 games on Saturday and split the 1-0. Had 2 1-0 games split them, I should say. And that to me forced the issue. It's their desire to win now is very clear based off of doing everything possible until the trade deadline right now to improve it. And then also, the whole Super 2 eligibility stuff. Now, maybe they still think that they're good on that because it's close enough and they have some formula they know. Otherwise, there's a chance by calling him up now. There's a chance.
Cost some more money.
It could end up costing more money in the future, but they're willing to do it now because we know there's zero pop in this lineup.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to, is that they said all the right things. We don't want to put too much pressure on him. We don't want him to save the lineup. Vern said that. Tough. Sorry, man. Pressure's on. You are, by fans' accounts, the savior for the offense. And look, I wouldn't view him that way if I were you. I would say, how about just improvement in the offense? Because this team can pitch so well. They don't need an offensive savior. They don't need someone to come in and hit 17 home runs a game in order. They just need a run. 2 runs. They just need a couple more a week.
I think fans view him as a savior, though.
I know.
Right? I mean, that's hard to flip, and I get why people feel that way. The organization, of course, is not putting that pressure on him, but I think fans are expecting him to come up and everything to be not, great, but that he's going to just jumpstart the entire offense. I hope that's the case. I mean, I think it's a energy boost for the clubhouse. I'll tell you that. I think it shows them as well that this organization is trying to win in a season where the expectation wasn't just to make the playoffs, but the expectation really was to go and win the division.
Yeah, it was. And the division's obviously was already tough. You lose a series to Detroit. Now you've only won, 2 of the 6 games you've played against them? So 7 games. 2 of the 7 games you've played against them. So you've run yourself into a real problem in the division already, just being behind the 8 ball. So unless you're going to go sweep them or something like that, you've made it a challenge. But the best part about this is that I'm just excited because Kags forced the issue. Very rarely, there's plenty of times I've watched them, think about the last, 3 guys they've called up this year to try to, even guys who'd already been in the big leagues. Rave and Lofton and they've made all these little moves as an effort to, even Noah Cameron, right? He was coming in with a little fanfare at the time. He's obviously been excellent, but he was coming in with a little fanfare at the time where it's just we're just trying things to find the offense. Can one extra bat, can switch it on him for MJ, can this or that, can they do this and get there? Kags just played his way so you couldn't ignore it anymore. In AA, he hit 322 with a nearly 400 on base and hit 9 homers. In AAA, he hit 6 homers and hit 319 with a 370 on base and an 1100 OPS. So in the not that many games he played, he hit 15 homers. And I don't even know if that's updated. Maybe it is. But outside of that, Jack Kaggleon forced his way into this lineup.
He forced up the timeline. I still think, though, why tomorrow is in large part because of what continued to happen at the big league level.
I think that's crazy.
There was no way they were going to have a perfect scenario to bring him up. We could go back and play the audio from a week ago from JJ where he acknowledged, basically, ideally you would like to bring him up when the offense and the team is playing well. Doesn't mean they're going to wait till that happens, clearly. But is this the most ideal scenario for him to get called up? No. But that doesn't mean it's a bad decision, but is it the perfect scenario? No. The perfect scenario is that the offense is rolling and you're plugging them in the 8th spot. Not the offense is struggling, you're plugging them in the 5th or 6th spot, and you're hoping that he can jumpstart this offense. And the fan base, understandably so, has just enormous expectations because of what he has done. And I think everybody, recognizes the potential that is there. Now, will we see that all this year, or is this more of a next year thing? Who knows? But bigger picture, the comps are not meant that he's going to be that player tomorrow. The comps are that's what he might be throughout his career. Not that tomorrow Pete Alonso's batting 6th for the Royals. You know what I mean?
I hope that's the case.
Would be great.
And occasionally rookie players do that, like Pete Alonso. But yeah, it's fewer and far between guys who just burst onto the scene and do it. So I'm going to have reasonable expectations and time for him to adjust to a level like I would any player. I was willing to give him time, Gold, to adjust to the AAA level. He just didn't need it. The reason why you make this move is pretty simple. Putting him in AA or AAA, it's a waste of his time. He might have flaws in his game. Chase rate, all the others, right? Whatever the issues, whatever the little metrics suggest that Jack Kaggleon might struggle at the big league level. I'll point out, he's averaging 95 miles per hour per hit in an exit velocity. He is hard hit rate, barrel rate, all of it. He is hitting AAA. So it's just a waste of his time. It doesn't mean he can't struggle in the big leagues, but he's not going to learn how to not struggle by going up against inferior talent. That's really what it came down to, in my opinion. You're right. I think the timeline moved up ahead of probably 2 weeks because the offense couldn't hit and all of that part with it. Do you just go ahead and change? By the way, is this the chance to, for anybody who's asking, Mike Kell to lead off instead? Is this the time to just completely redo the lineup? Michael leadoff, India 5th or 6th, flip Jack with the other. And is this when you just you go all in and just go mix and match and try to figure out the optimum scoring lineup now?
I think that's I think that's after Kags has been in the lineup for a week or two or more when you move to that kind of decision. I mean, they're clearly pushing the chips to the middle of the table a little bit even more, but I don't know if they're going to just change everything. Look, think about what we've had the off-season conversation about clearly what they did or didn't do, but in season at this point, for a team that is 2 games above 500, and this speaks to, I don't think desperation's the right word. I just think what the real expectation is out of this team and how great the starting pitching is, that you don't want to waste it, which is all the moves that they have made, and it's still just now June 2nd. I mean, they're starting, and some of it is, again, off-season stuff, but left fielder, right fielder, not there. Your opening day left. One's in AAA. One's out of the organization. Your rotation maybe now has been great, but Noah Cameron's been called up this year. You have a lineup that has still been altered at multiple times. I actually
they keep trying to find the optimal lineup. They're in search of offense. There's no doubt about that. Every little move they've made has been in search of offense.
But now you have Jack Kaggleon's going to be an everyday player. And I know they've been rotating Nick Lofton and John Rave and stuff, but Drew Waters was also called up at one point in time. Think about the different pieces the moves that they have made along the way to try to fix this offense in season, and obviously has not worked to this point in time. But that's the spot that they're at, and they're running. By the way, they're running out of other things to do. I mean, the only other thing left after now calling up Kag is a trade, which is
call MJ back up and flip him.
Look, I like that he's hitting better. He's got to do that for more than just what he's done. But the last 15 or 16 games, he's maybe found something. I saw him hit 2 home runs on Saturday. Hopefully that's the case, and he's the guy that can eventually come back up and be your 8th or 9th hitter. In a month or so.
Yeah, and if you're the 8th or 9th hitter, then the pressure's not on. This is what's so frustrating with the offense is that they have some guys actually outperforming what their expectations were. Kyle Isbell's outperforming his expectations. Michael Garcia is outperforming his expectations. And so, to this point, Gold, they've got some guys in their offense who are hitting better than expected or better than they were expected to do this year. But every time, the one that kills me is less than 2 outs with a runner on third. That is when you know an offense is really going bad, is because with less than 2 outs and a runner on third, I don't know what their success rate is in that scenario, but it is bleak, really bleak.
If you missed it, this is how it sounded in the manager's office down in AAA. Jersh giving the news to Jack Kaggleon that he was getting the call up.
All right, seriously, how do you feel? Good. You feel a little tired because you've been doing a lot of stuff.
Not bad.
I mean, you've been doing outfield stuff, and you've been taking your ground balls, everything.
Been working, but it's been good.
So you think you feel like you're at the point where you could help, them up there? You think you could?
Yeah.
All right, well then you can get on the charter tomorrow night and go with them. St. Louis.
Holy crap.
So what do you think?
That sounds great.
Just remember, it's still a game. It's baseball.
Yeah.
It's a little higher level, but you know you can play.
Yeah. Shoot, player.
All right, give me a hug.
Holy cow. I need to call my dad.
What do you think when I started talking to you?
I mean, I was like, damn, it's probably for hitting my knob against the stair.
I heard that.
I was like, damn.
I heard that.
But, oh, no way.
Go call your dad.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'll let the fam know.
Congrats.
I don't think you're going to the zoo tomorrow.
So that was how it sounded when Kags got the news that he's headed to the big league club. Awesome moment. Those are always very, very cool.
You had me had to go look it up. I was looking up MJ Melendez's stats. I'm like, see, actually
last
hit
15,
better.
16 games, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I pulled up 14, but yeah, same thing. 316, 361 on base, and a 992 OPS. Maybe you're right. Maybe you did find something, but that's a down the road problem. Those moments, I know, people want to sour him sometimes with that one. It's like, what do you think? Jack Kaggleon never knew he was going to get to the majors? Yeah, I'm sure this season, after he started raking and doubling AAA, he knew he was going. Doesn't change the moment of getting the call. finding out you're a big leaguer. And baseball should always lean into these moments because they're the only sport that gets to do it this way. It's cool. And for him to be like, I got to call my dad. I got to call my, you start running through your head, like, I got to call my fiance. I got to call my fiance. I got to call my dad. I got to call my, whoever. I got to call everyone in my world. And then it's like the normal stuff, like who do I put in charge of getting tickets for people in St. Louis? Who do I put in charge? Because you don't want to deal with that. You want to play baseball. Somebody's got to be your point person.
The good news is today's an off day, so I'm assuming either last night or this morning he drove from Omaha to Kansas City,
get on the charter,
get settled in, and then he'll fly out with the team to St. Louis today, presumably, and then go play some baseball tomorrow night for his big league debut. And if you're just joining us, I know we've been trying to figure out plans and everything. We will be in St. Louis broadcasting live tomorrow. Doing our show there, and then we'll be heading to the ballpark, and so you can find stuff on our social media channels tomorrow. Dusty also is heading out there. I think after his show tomorrow is his plan, and then he'll join us in St. Louis as well. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, to make sure you have that. But we're looking forward to obviously head out there for his debut, and then Kauffman Stadium next Tuesday when the Yankees are in town will be his Kauffman Stadium debut, and that's going to be a pretty special scene.
I know he's making his major league debut. Do you think he wants to rip some more packs?
I'm going to go ahead and say that that's probably not where his focus is going to be.
Do you think he wants to rip some more packs?
He might be a little more busy, you know.
Say,
it could be fun though. He had fun the last time, and he likes doing that.
He does, yeah. I think his focus will be elsewhere for a little bit.
You think we should leave him alone tomorrow?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's a good.
I'll tell you what though, if for whatever reason he was like, yeah, let's go ahead and rip some packs. He is officially in on Cody and Gold and the show and you guys
on his debut.
If he took the time to do that, I mean,
you know what it is? Let's just tell him the next time we want to rip packs with Kags is when we get a blaster box or some sort of box that could contain his patch.
That's next year.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
By the way,
that's
tomorrow, it's his uniform tomorrow will have the debut patch on it. He wears it for one game. Then that patch gets taken off the jersey and it gets sent to Topps, and it'll be in a Topps series. I don't know if it'll be Series 1 next year or what it'll be in, but yeah, that'll be a massive chase next year.
Yeah,
massive.
As I was saying, will you come rip some packs with us when it's the pack that could contain your debut patch, which is something he's going to try to buy, but also price ain't going to be cheap. If he wants to buy it, he's going to have to pony up some serious dough. What will that be worth?
Well, it depends what he does this year, right? If he wins Rookie of the Year or something like that, then the price goes up dramatically.
Not prepared for it.
But look, it's not going to be Paul Skeens level, but easily over $100,000. There's a good chance, yeah. If he performs the way that
would you give him a discount? Would you let Jack have it for 50?
If I pulled the
if you pulled it, would you let Jack have it for 50?
We would negotiate something. I would still have to have cash involved.
Yeah, you need some cash. And also, when I want to sit crown seats, can I just text you?
The odds of pulling that are like 1 in something million. I mean, it's crazy.
It's like winning the lottery.
Yeah, someone says, would he not be in Series 2 this year? I guess there's a chance. Yeah, I guess in October, November, that's a good point. There's a chance. Series 1 is just coming out, I think. So I guess he could be in there. So we'll see.
Plausible. Don't know.
Someone says, why not just force them not to take it off the patch? They have a deal. I mean, it's the Players Association has a deal. Like, that's part of their deal. The patch, he doesn't get, the patch goes to Topps for the card. That's just how.
They don't get to just keep all they get paid money by these companies to sign cool stuff. He also tried to buy a Superfractor, right? And couldn't get it.
Kags has a deal with Topps. That's his. He doesn't, his cards are you'll never see his cards in Panini products. They're getting too nerdy now, but you'll never see it in Panini stuff. He's got a deal with Topps. So anyway.
Gotta take exclusivity checks.
Coming up in about 8 minutes, we're expected to be joined by Joel Goldberg, FanDuel Sports Network. We'll try to get that locked down, but I believe Joel's going to call in. He obviously has been part of some of these debuts over the years. I want to get his perspective on what Kags is going to experience tomorrow and just what the vibe might be like in the clubhouse and around the organization. So we'll see if we connect with Joel Goldberg in just a bit, plus the random question of the day coming up in 20 minutes or so. But lost in all this, understandably so, is that Chris Bubich yet again was absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, there's a wild pitch. Other than that, his ERA went down yesterday, continues to be, I think it's now the third best ERA in baseball, fourth best ERA in baseball.
It's the best, the last I saw.
Is it the best? Okay. It was third, maybe before the game, sorry.
But it's also just it's like one of the fourth or fifth best months a left-handed pitcher's ever had. Like, not just in Royals history, it's like one of the best that, like, Zach Greinke is probably the closest, not left-handed, just pitchers who've had it in the year he won the Cy Young. So just as a reminder for the level of dominance he was, and I'd have to look it up out of starters, but I mean, we're talking about not just having a good season anymore, or not just having a good stretch goal. We're talking about one of the guys having the single best years in all of baseball. He does have the lowest ERA in baseball at 1.43. Nathan Eovaldi being second, and then a bunch of other guys you've probably heard of, including Cy Young favorites, Garrett Crochet and Paul Skeens and Skubal and others. Yeah. He should be. If his name was Tarik Skubal, he would be the heavy favorite to win this Cy Young. But because he didn't have the seasons these other guys had already put on paper, he wasn't. I'm going to try to just separate for a minute. The frustration's over. I was tweeting about Chris Bubic. I had mentioned you in it because we had talked about it on the show. Separate this from the offense for a minute and just appreciate what Chris Bubic is doing. He is having an unbelievable season to the point that you almost can't believe that he didn't find it. Find it. As in, this is closer to what Chris Bubic is and what they saw when they originally saw him. Whatever adjustments he made this offseason, they have all clicked in a single year together, and he looks like one of the 5 most dominant pitchers in baseball. So yeah, I kind of predict maybe not has a 1.43 ERA Gold, but I expect this level all year, don't you? He's not walking anybody. He's striking guys out. You know, he's doing what he has to do. He's not giving up homers. It's kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah. I think Chris Bubic, the turnaround that he has is add him to the list of examples from Brian Sweeney and from this regime, right? We talk a ton about Cole Reagans, of course, and what he's done since he got traded. But Chris Bubic, his turnaround of his career, coming off injury, now I guess it's been 2 years at this point, after being in the bullpen
he was kind of a
year.
part-time player last year.
It's a great story. I think the odds make sense, though, if you're just talking about the award, because Skubal won it a year ago, and there's probably still some thought, hey, can he do this all year? Even anywhere near this, and you have to be to this extent, but can he have a sub-2 ERA all year and be in a position to do that?
It's becoming more realistic, isn't it?
It is. For the actual award itself, the Royals, I think, as a team, need to get going a little bit, though. Unfortunately, with the Tigers' run away with the division, it's going to be awfully tough to beat Skubal in that regard, based off of what he's still doing. I mean, he had a complete game two outings ago. Did Skubal, so that would be the only thing I would say about that when it comes to the actual Cy Young award. But Brian Sweeney is going to have, it looks like, 3 different pitchers in the last 2 seasons finishing in the top 4 of Cy Young. The way things are going.
I know the text line, somebody's mentioned this before from the 816. ESPN's got Chris Bubic listed as their favorite on ESPN.
Well, that's an opinion piece. Yeah. Not the actual odds.
That's really what it is. That is someone's opinion that he should be the favorite to win the Cy Young. And again, based on stats, if the season ended today, I think he would win the Cy Young.
Here's the odds.
But it's not, but he's also still, what is he, 4th or 5th still?
So Skubal's the favorite, minus 160. Hunter Brown, plus 700. Garrett Crochet, 7.5 to 1. Max Fried, 9.5 to 1. Jacob deGrom, 13 to 1. Chris Bubic, 21 to 1.
So if you like him to win the Cy Young, you can still get him.
The 6th best odds right now to win the
If it isn't today, would they give him the award? Like, why not? He's been the best pitcher. Why wouldn't you? Like, and again, they don't. For the sake of the argument, they obviously don't. We're not even halfway through the season. But if they did, shouldn't he win it?
The fact that it's voted on by humans in the media, I don't think he would. I think there'd be some lazy Baseball Writers Association people that would, just give it to Skubal. So, all right, let's talk about Bubic. Let's talk about Kags. We believe Joel Goldberg will be calling in on the other side. That's coming up right here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education. But that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Summer savings are here at Going Gone by Dick's Sporting Goods. Score up to 70% off styles from top brands like Nike, Adidas, Jordan, Kalia, and more. Discover new markdowns and arrivals every week. Hurry in and save big on summer styles at your Going Gone.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. That does give us certain advantages, for example, in experience and resources. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. If you're a guy facing divorce, remember, Cordell and Cordell, a partner you can count on.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. CordellCordell.com.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure what the best option is? Selling a home, especially when dealing with foreclosure, divorce, job relocation, or an inherited property, can feel overwhelming. That's why I don't just make offers. I help homeowners understand all their options so they can make the right choice with no pressure and no obligation. I'm Rex, a local homebuyer and resident right here in Kansas City. Whether you're looking for a fast cash sale or just want to explore your choices, I'll walk you through the pros and cons of selling to me or listing with an agent. If selling directly is your best move, I'll offer you a fair cash price and a closing timeline that fits your needs in as little as 7 days or on your schedule. No repairs, no commissions, no hidden fees. Just a transparent, hassle-free process so you know exactly what to expect. Let's talk. Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com for a free, no-pressure consultation. Rex Buys KC, helping homeowners make informed decisions with confidence.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
We can be twinsies.
to
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
What he'll never have is the love I have for you.
What he'll never have. The smash hit from Dylan Scott appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
And Till I Can't, I Will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can't, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Royals coverage sponsored by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Who is the area's only dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment? Metal by the Foot, located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We will get to the random question of the day in about 12 minutes or so. But let's continue talking about Jack Kaggleon. He gets the call up from AAA Omaha. He will make his debut tomorrow in St. Louis. Someone that's obviously very familiar with the Royals, but also spent plenty of time in St. Louis as well, is about to join us. That, of course, is Joel Goldberg from FanDuel Sports Network. Joel, it's great to have you on the show. Obviously, everybody's excited. There's some new bounce in everybody's step today talking about Kags. And you've been around these type of call-ups before. Maybe it was Haas, maybe it was Bobby. It seems like it's not just a fan base morale boost, but I would imagine it does the same for a clubhouse.
Oh, it for sure does the same for a clubhouse. And, you know, I think any manager, whether they beat you over the head with this observation like Ned might have, or maybe Q wouldn't quite say it this way, but none of these moves are meant to appease and excite the fan base, right? I mean, you'd like to hope and think that that's what comes from it, and in this case, you know that it does. But they're going to do these moves whenever they think the time is right, especially this organization. They're very disciplined with that. Maybe, I don't know, maybe in a bigger market like in New York or in LA or somewhere where you're desperately trying to sell a ticket, you do it in earlier than needed or before you're comfortable because, hey, it might bring fans to the ballpark. If anything, I would say that, and I don't know what piece of the equation this went into. I can make some guesses on it, but I think that the convenience, there's some convenience in the timing of being out of town and not having it be a total circus, although I think the circus will just travel to St. Louis now because all the media can get there. Like this probably would have been a little easier for them to do in say, Seattle or something like that. But the bottom line is they feel like he's ready today or tomorrow, and you make that move first and foremost because you believe he is ready and he is a better option than what you have at whatever spot. We all know that's we know that he has to be one of your best options right now, and if proven otherwise, so be it. They believe that he's ready right now, and then do you do that just to light excitement or fire in the clubhouse? No, but I can promise you that all of those guys are excited. I can promise you every one of those guys knew when he had the 5 homers in 4 days. They may not be looking at the box scores the way we are, but word gets around quick, and they want to win. And so this is I can promise you that there are text – without knowing, I can promise you that there are text chains flying around from the players the moment that they heard about this, just like you all did and we all did with our friends and family.
The way I view it, Joel, is like I'm not saying he can't struggle in the big leagues, right? Like those things happen, and it's certainly more than plausible for that to be the case. But he wasn't going to learn how to hit at the major league level in the minors anymore. Like it seemed fairly obvious this was no longer a challenge. So if there's things in his game that need improvement, it wasn't going to happen at AA or AAA because it wasn't the effort, the challenge wasn't there.
Right, but you have to make that determination, and they did so in 2 weeks, which is much quicker than I think what they typically would do. Which, and I just know, you guys both know that JJ Piccolo, from JJ through his staff and all the way up even to ownership with John Sherman and his group, they are not the panic button type. I think that a lot of fans would like for them to be the panic button type because fans are in the moment and they're emotional, and that's part of being a fan, and you don't care about what it might do, potentially negative or not, in the future. That's the GM's job to worry about all that kind of stuff. And for them to make this move, to me, has so much less about the offense right now and more about they saw what they needed to see in 2 weeks. Because you know what? If they felt like he needed more in the minor leagues, or that, hey, it's just a couple of weeks, they can wait another week or two if they needed to. But I felt all along, I mean, it's the same thing with you guys. What's the number one question we've been asked in spring training? When's Jack Kaggleon coming up? And people wanted him there on opening day. And that just, I just try to take the emotion out of everything in my role. You guys don't have to take the emotion out as much. It's talk radio. It should be emotional. It should be all that. I'm there just to tell you what's going on. And to me, that means taking the emotion out and just looking at things realistically. There was no way they were ever going to put him on the opening day roster with the very limited handful of games that he had and in pro ball. So now you look and you say, okay, what's it going to take to get him here, and when is it going to happen? And so I thought all along, let's just say if things go well, it's the All-Star break. I thought that was pretty realistic. So then and I thought that he'd be in AA about as long as he was. So they move him up, and then I think, all right, maybe it could be sometime in July. Maybe it's not the All-Star break. Maybe it's not after the All-Star break. Maybe it's the beginning of July. Then he has that first week on the road and the 5 homers in 4 games. And remember, everybody at that point is clamoring, bring him up tomorrow. And you even heard, saw some of the silly tweets of, John Raven's coming up on Memorial Day. That's not how you spell. My favorite tweet that I saw, I try not to read too many of them anymore, is a guy commented something like, that's not how you spell Kaggleon on the Rave tweet, and he misspelled Kaggleon, which I thought hysterical and just so typical. And it's like, okay, is 5 homers in 4 days enough? Maybe for people, but probably not. And you know what? Now they want to see him do it at home. Don't do it in Salt Lake. Omaha's a good place to hit. It's not quite the same as Salt Lake. Let's see what it looks like at home, and let's get him, working with Rusty Kuntz and all these things. Now you see 2 weeks of it, and you're like, to what you just said, Cody, wait a minute. This may be too small for him. Let's go right now, and the timing is right, and everything fits. So I think a lot had to have gone into this. I thought after the 5-homer week that maybe, July 1 turns into the middle of June. And then I thought after last week, maybe it's sooner. And I didn't expect last night, but I'm not totally shocked by it either.
We're talking to Joel Goldberg of FanDuel Sports Network. You were out in spring training. I'm assuming you've had a chance to talk to Kags at least a little bit. So he doesn't strike us in our brief interaction we've had with him as someone that's too high, too low. It seems pretty even keeled in terms of what tomorrow might be or what next Tuesday might be at Kauffman Stadium.
Yeah, I don't know what he's like. When he, for lack of a better term, when he snaps, when he gets mad, when he's fired up, good or bad for that matter. I just haven't been around it enough other than to know he's very comfortable, sitting and doing an interview. You guys saw that. He's certainly an engaging guy. I don't know if he's quite as low-key as Bobby Witt Jr., but I see the same composure just in a guy that does not seem wide-eyed by the moment. And I thought, to me, the most telling thing in spring training, now keep in mind, I'm only there for a few days in my role, but he and then I saw comments from players afterwards. I would watch him in the clubhouse, the way he just integrated with the Bobby Witts and the Vinny Pasquantinos, and really the next wave of leadership on this team, and your star players that are much closer to him in age than say Salvi would be, or Waka, or some of the guys that are in their 30s that have been doing this a lot longer. And what I noticed was he blended in and looked, and it certainly doesn't hurt that you have his physical stature. He looked like, if you were to walk into the room and not know faces and names, you'd be like, which ones are the big leaguers in here? And you'd pick out him right away because of the size, but also the way he just blended in with everybody in terms of a comfort level and personality. Yet he was never the loudest guy in the room. I mean, there's always this thing with young guys, and certainly, guys that are only in big league camp and non-roster invitees and that type of thing, that, you're rookies, what do they say? Rookies are meant to be seen and not heard. He was never the loud guy in the room, but yet he fit with all of the guys, whether they were loud. Vinny's a little bit louder, Bobby a little bit quieter. He just looked like he was already part of that group, and it wasn't him so much trying to do it. It was them bringing him in. When you
Look at some of these others, so now I'm going to ask you, because you've been around the team long enough, how do you think the moment usually ends up going for these guys? I was at Alex Gordon's debut when the entire crowd stood up when he came up with the bases loaded, or we were talking about Bobby Witt Jr.'s debut, but that felt different because it was already opening day. Like, how do you compare those moments when Jack Kaggleon and all the buzz comes up? How does that hit them a lot of times when you talk to these guys after?
They're all different. I think the one thing you'll hear him say now, tomorrow, I should say, is he'll say some version of, because this is what the kind of the current generation says, something along the lines of, I just want to be where my feet are. And I'm not making fun of that expression. We hear it a lot, and I don't remember ever hearing that in the past. I think it's the lingo now for being present, for enjoying the moment. And I hear so many of them say that. I believe in that, by the way, too. I love that expression. But he may go 0 for 4 tomorrow. He might go 4 for 4. He might not be in the lineup. I think he's going to be in the lineup. But
don't scare people, Joel, please.
Look, nobody's ever consulted me on a lineup. None of the managers that I've covered here, from Trey Hillman through Matt Quatrero, have consulted me, nor will they ever. But I'm pretty sure that it's safe to say he is going to be somewhere tomorrow at first base or DH or a corner outfield spot. But I don't know if he's going to hit 2 homers. But what I think is going to be really cool, I'm sure all of his family will be there. The Royals do a great job of making sure that the families get in, is that he he's going to get a nice reception. There's going to be a lot of Royals fans there. That were probably already going to be going and have already suddenly said, you know what, we may need to make a Tuesday trip to St. Louis. And by the way, I think the weather's supposed to be good tomorrow and maybe rain on Wednesday. So if you want to catch him tomorrow might be a good way to do it. How he's going to handle the moment, I don't know, but he's been on the big stage. I mean, you don't come out of Florida. Brady Singer will tell you this. Jonathan India will tell you this. Anybody that came out of Florida will tell you that was training at the highest level. I mean, that level of college baseball program has a lot of similarities to the major leagues, not in terms of the level of talent at that point, but just in terms of the expectation and the attention to detail and the spotlight. So I don't think he's going to be overwhelmed by anything. And this is different, I think, than, a John Rave coming up or think of some of the most recent call-ups. Very few, if ever, will step onto a big league field for the first time having already had the spotlight that Jack Kaggleon has or Bobby Witt Jr. And I would argue because of the college stage, a greater spotlight than Bobby had coming into his big league debut, in part because he's a little bit older than what Bobby was. And I'm sure you guys have talked about this a lot. I'm pivoting just a smidge here, but I don't know the last time there was a call-up to this magnitude because, at least for me, I've talked to a couple of people about this today, I don't think you can compare it to Bobby Witt Jr. or Alex Gordon because opening day is different. And I don't say that to minimize, if anything, theirs were better in the sense that right from day one they were there. Or maybe more impressive. I don't know what the right word is, but it's different because in the midst of opening day, you have all the pomp and circumstance. You're looking at rosters, who made the team, expectations for the year. Like the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 thing tomorrow is Jack Kaggleon, and we could only do so much of that with Bobby Witt Jr. on opening day.
Joel Goldberg, we appreciate it as always. Safe travels to St. Louis. We'll see you out there tomorrow.
Oh, you mean you guys are going?
We're driving out there tonight. Yes,
of course you are. Get the T-shirts going, right?
We know how to do a road trip.
We're not allowed to do this, but I'm convinced we could make a lot of money if we just open up the back of Cody's SUV and sold Kags shirts out the back of it tomorrow outside Busch Stadium. We can't do it, but I'm convinced we would make a lot of money.
Sell some Cody and Gold shirts.
All right, hey, appreciate it. There you go, Joel Goldberg, FanDuel Sports Network. We will see him.
It's like,
tomorrow.
Wait, you guys are really gone? Like, yeah.
Yeah. So we
came together this morning.
Yeah, there's still other things we're texting and getting ironed out. Very excited, even more excited with some new information we got. We'll fill you in tomorrow. Very excited. So tonight we'll drive to St. Louis. Tomorrow we'll do our show from St. Louis. Dusty will leave, I think, after his show tomorrow, so he'll also be there. But we're going to do our show there. Then we'll be out at Busch Stadium. Follow us on social tomorrow because we'll have an opportunity, along with every other media outlet that's going to be out there.
But their content will be worse.
That's
Ours
right.
will be better.
Yeah, theirs will be awful. We will talk to Kags before the game, after the game, and we'll have some fun videos, hopefully, during the game as well. And with some new information, I think you and I will also have a little different perspective, too, during the game.
I think so.
Forward to that.
We're going to try to cover some of the stuff before and bring you kind of everything of his major league debut because it is a big debut. He's saying in his time he can't remember. Hosmer is the answer because the other ones were on opening day. The vibe's a little bit different. The answer is Hosmer. He was in the middle. He was one of baseball's top prospects. And again, same thing applies to Alex Gordon. Even if you're like, did Hosmer reach the absolute ceiling of what people thought he could have been when he came to the big league? The answer is no. He's still a 10, 12-year big leaguer and a future Royals Hall of Famer and a million other things. He's a great pro to go with it. I wonder if he'll be in the stands. He's been tweeting about Kags since spring training.
He has. And I know tomorrow, as you said, we'll get into more expectations and bigger picture stuff with him and, of course, the rest of the season. Today, obviously, exciting news with Kags getting called up. Someone says, hey, Cody and Gold, the shirt, and the abbreviation for the show is CAG.
Oh. So Kags, if it's...
Jack is an abbreviation for his name. Kags.
Yeah, he's Jeffrey Allen Kaggleon. Is that what it is?
Correct.
Yeah. I've never heard anyone call him that. We asked him which nickname he preferred because Kaggleon is long, and he said that he prefers Kags is good. Because we mentioned some of the other, like, silly ones that people... Because, like, you know it is. People want to say Jack Hammer or Jack... You know, like, Jack lends itself for a lot of opportunity in the pun game. So you know, people have had a lot of freedom with it. But that's true. Cody and Gold, Kags. Show, right? Cody and Gold show, Kags. Whatever we got to add to get the yes there on the end makes it work, I think.
All right, let's.
We'll be there.
Yeah, let's get to the random question.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, we're on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. Gold's wearing his Storm Chasers Kag shirt. I'm wearing a different ray gun shirt that says the vibes are great because I want my Kag shirt for the stadium tomorrow, obviously. I don't think anybody could blame me, at least on that end. But the random question I had today came sad news late last night. It was announced that John Brinkus, the former host of Sports Science, had passed away. A guy I'd gotten a chance to interview a couple of times at a few radio rows. Really, really cool dude. And a super unique show that he ran over at ESPN for a while. So very simple question in honor of John Brinkus today is, I just want to know what your favorite episode or moment on Sports Science was. A show that I feel like we all watched at least for a time when it had like a big moment. Let's just play this one for an example so you can get your juices flowing a little bit. This is the one he did on Patrick Mahomes.
To see how Mahomes handles a collapsing pocket, we challenged him to our pressure test. And his mobility was on full display. In one of the most impressive maneuvers, he reacts to an incoming heavy bag and jump cuts in only half a second. This allows him to avoid contact with the bag by just 4 inches, or about the length of an outstretched finger. But what really stands out about Mahomes is how he manages to keep his eyes locked on target. Studies have shown that maintaining visual fixation with the target increases accuracy by 20%. This helps explain why Mahomes can escape pressure and rocket throws that are straight money.
I mean, you can hear like
and
each
obviously
little part.
very, very sad news yesterday to see that come out. As far as the show and what he did, that was one of the great shows that had been on ESPN. You know, just a different generation of ESPN and everything. But that's the Mahomes one. But the
I remember the Dirk shot one always stood out to me. That one, because it's just like he's not supposed to statistically be able to do that in any way.
Right. So somebody put the line from that Dirk one. If you were as tall as Yao Ming with the vertical leap of Derrick Rose, you still couldn't get a hand on the ball. That's the way that Dirk shoots his fadeaway jumper.
I love that show. I really did. And it was innovative in what they were able to do with it. And then I believe he had recently started like his own, I don't know if it was a full network or app or something. But very sad. I know they put out a statement. His family put out a statement that he had been battling, some mental health issues and depression, and really, really sad news last night that came out. Actually, like that news happened like 10 minutes after the Kags stuff. So I saw that. I was on Twitter quite a bit last night because of Kags, and then saw really sad news. So
he was super nice the couple times I met him.
Yeah, that's right. On Radio Row and stuff. You would get the emails about availability. Yeah,
super, super nice guy. From the 816, the Cristiano Ronaldo episode is unreal. The thing that always stood out to me is the ones where I think it was Calvin Johnson when they showed like essentially his catch radius was like a double door garage door or whatever. You're like, what the hell on earth is this? Or the text I mentioned, the Kevin Love full shot, which was there.
When he went up against a sumo wrestler to get the rebound. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like every part of it that like I kind of love the behind the scenes because it was like the opposite of pros versus Joes. It was like, hey, like here's you going up against these athletes. And instead they show these guys in their prime being like, this is why you'd have no chance.
Yeah.
Like, let me just be clear. Here is the reason why. Look at what Cristiano Ronaldo can do with his physical body. You have to be no chance at doing any of these things against him. Like, and I think that's kind of what always stood out about it. So someone says that was Justin Blackman's catch radius. I just couldn't remember the wide receiver. But it's like I loved seeing those things because it always felt like an inside look behind the things that they did. I saw one, I think Dwight Howard, they did one for like his Superman stuff and all that. There's just so many good stuff.
The end of the Mahomes one, we didn't get to the end of it, but he compares him to Jameis Winston and Donovan McNabb.
Well, McNabb,
He said he has the intangibles, I believe, of Donovan McNabb or something along those lines. And it was more the arm strength of Jameis, who they also tested, I think, with sports science in the lab, as John Brinkus always used to say.
Did you watch that show? You said you watched it quite a bit.
Quite a bit, yeah.
That was always on in the late afternoons, wasn't it? That
was like
the
PTI,
3 to 3:30 or whatever it was.
Yeah, you could catch it in that like PTI around the horn
I
window.
got home from school and that was it.
In some of that, the best versions of those. I think the best, when I was probably watching ESPN in the afternoons the most. Right? And that what you?
Well, that the heyday of it was for my age. I was in middle school / high school probably, and yeah, you had PTI around the horn. You had sports science. That was when it was, I think, at its best. And there's certain elements of ESPN that I like today. There's obviously plenty of elements today that are not the same, and that it's a different era. It's a big reason why Around the Horn no longer exists. It wrapped up 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Mm-hmm. That was a great run of shows, and then you had when Sports Nation was a big deal with Michelle Beadle and when Colin Cowherd was at ESPN, you had that Around the Horn and Sports Science and PTI all back to back to back.
I will say the one show I never understood that anybody enjoyed was Sports Reporters. I did not.
That was different style.
I did not understand the appeal of that show at all. Just a bunch of untrimmed eyebrow hair and dumb opinions.
Wait, hold on. Stop. That's what stood out about the show was eyebrow hair?
Just old men who didn't groom.
Wasn't John Saunders the main guy on that show? R.I.P. to John Saunders as well. I think John Saunders was a main.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a weekend show, though, wasn't it? That was
actually, the Sports Reporters was a very good show. Different,
like
Saturday or Sunday morning. It didn't do anything for me.
It's a very serious show, and it's a little bit different. But
it was like the Outside the Lines, wasn't it? Kind of, or was it a little bit
different than that? It was more panel style than that, but yeah.
Right, yeah, because they had more of them altogether.
Mm-hmm. Somebody said if only he could have done an episode on Cody's chances to beat Jordan, given an endless time loop against.
Seriously, he would have been like, "This is not even worth my time." Not even worth my time, but obviously thoughts to his family. Very, very sad news with the creator and founder of Sports Science passing away yesterday at the age of just 53. All right, up next, let's get to 1 o'clock hour. Let's talk more about Kags, his call up tomorrow, including the Rookie of the Year market, which has gotten very interesting for people in Kansas City. And we'll briefly touch on Drew's tweet that got people riled up again.
This is Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30.
We need to nip this in the bud. We need to nip what in the bud?
On your home for Royals baseball, 96.5, The Fan.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
The final series starts on Thursday, and Underdog is one of the best places to make entries during playoff basketball. When they score buckets, you score cash over at Underdog, one of the leading places to make all your sports selections that you can play in your state. From the Missouri side, we could all be watching Kags tomorrow, making our selections over on the Underdog app on the Missouri side. It's one of the fastest growing sports games apps. Again, you can play in your state. So why not join the millions of fans who have already won billions making plays at Underdog and join an app that has over 100,000 five-star reviews and millions of players. It's super easy. Download the app and then choose which players will go higher or lower than their stats. So for the baseball tomorrow, it might be home runs, hits. For basketball on Thursday, it might be rebounds, assists, points, whatever you're feeling over there. It's a layup to use over at Underdog. Download the Underdog app and sign up using that promo code TAP, TAPP to unlock a special offer for up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. That's promo code TAP. Must be 18 plus and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncpgambling.org.
We're hiring residential garage door installers at Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. Join the team trusted here since 1927. Apply today. Get a call today. No experience necessary. Paid training for motivated applicants to install garage doors. Hiring bonus up to $2,500. Mechanical, carpentry, or service industry experience is a plus. Good benefits include health, dental, vision, and pension. Earn as you learn to service the best garage door customers in KC. Apply today at overheaddoorkc.com.
Going out to eat just got a serious upgrade, Kansas City. 30 Hop is your new go-to. An American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, and an unbeatable happy hour. Now open in Lee's Summit and just opened at Miriam's Grand Station. As the proud lunch partner of the Cody and Gold Show, 30 Hop truly has something for everyone. Stop in for lunch, stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. That's 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
This summer, Casey's has 89-cent fountain and frozen drinks. But if you don't have 89 cents, you could check your center console, or dig between your couch cushions, or ask Grandma for $1, or just use your credit card. We take those too. 89-cent frozen and fountain drinks at Casey's, all summer long. Restrictions may apply. See store for details.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
BillsHappen.com is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. BillsHappen.com's lenders have millions of dollars to lend, regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
Climate Control has been serving KC homeowners for over 35 years and know how to get your cooling system ready to handle the scorching hot summer. Schedule your AC system tune-up for just $59. Don't wait. Visit ClimateControlKC.com today. Climate Control Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
O'Reilly. You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit NoTimeToWait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3.
I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or on third-party delivery platforms.
But what he'll never have is the love I have for you.
What he'll never have, the smash hit from Dylan Scott, appears on the brand new album, Easy Does It. The album also features the #1 song, This Town's Been Too Good to Us.
This town's been too good to us.
Until I Can, I Will.
I'll do whatever it takes. Yeah, believe me when I say till I can, I will.
Dylan Scott. Search, follow, and listen now on all music streaming services. Sponsored by Curb Records.
Listen to Jack Kaggleon's debut tomorrow night with Burns On Deck show starting at 5:30. First pitch at 6:45. Right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2. Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
All right, 1 o'clock hour here on a Monday. Hope you guys are having a great day. Had a good weekend. It's all about Kags. Tomorrow is all Kags Day. Like, it's Kags Day on the show, at the station, full blown. Let us know if you're going to St. Louis. Somebody else just texted in, said they've seen him in Springfield with us on the trip. I met him in Omaha on Friday. He said he's thinking about going to St. Louis tomorrow. I think he said he is in St. Louis. He gave us his seat that he's in as well. So if you're making the trip to St. Louis tomorrow, let us know. We're going to be there. It's going to be a very quick trip for us, but we're going to be there tomorrow. We'll try to maybe have a chance to meet up with you, but we're broadcasting from a studio, so we won't have like a public show tomorrow, if that makes sense. But
it turns out the Cardinals don't want to just let us broadcast right out in front of their stadium.
We'll be in
promoting a Royals player, although they should. They should let us do that.
So we'll be driving there tonight. Maybe we'll do. I don't know if we'll go live, but maybe we'll do a video tonight as you're driving, so I can turn on the video. Cody, of course, will have two hands on the wheel the entire time.
Cruise control, baby. You know how I roll.
I'm in the passenger seat. I can crack open a beer and we can go live on Facebook or Twitter later on the drive to St. Louis.
I think
tonight.
At some point we should, right?
Yeah, I think we will.
This is a very impromptu to like put the. We started texting about Jack, and we're like, oh man, the station's got to have. We want the station to have a presence there, right? This is a big debut, but while acknowledging us getting there could be a bit of a challenge, so we didn't think that was necessarily a thing that was going to happen. Worked out some details this morning. Got clearance from the wife. I'm good to go. I'm free and clear, I guess. I'm driving back late Wednesday night after the game, but so I'll just prepare. Or Tuesday night after the game. So preparation Wednesday. I'm going to need Jack to hit like 2-3 homers or something in the game, so it feels like I just got like a cup of coffee. First thing, right when we start the show.
It'll be a quick little turnaround, but it's gonna be fun. This is honestly, like this is these are the fun days, the fun shows.
Cody and Gold road trip.
This is fun. Everybody should be excited about it, and we are fortunate to be in a position where we can pull this off over the next couple of days. So.
Is there anything that St. Louis is famous for food wise? Do you guys
ravioli and bad pizza?
I don't think we're gonna have time. I would love to go to the Hill, which is the Italian spot.
Fried ravioli.
I just don't think we're gonna have time. We're not gonna get in till after 10 tonight, and then tomorrow we're very busy all day. Yeah, and so now I don't think we'll have time. But very good Italian food there. I don't like Provel cheese on my pizza, so I'm out on the pizza game there. But yeah,
people are already giving us a heads up about construction.
White Castle. If you want smell up Cody's car on the drive back, you smell up your car on the drive back. We'll just smell up the car on the whole drive back tomorrow.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah, tomorrow night. Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night we're getting 9:30 p.m. White Castle.
That's the perfect time.
How many bathroom breaks are you planning on the way home?
None.
Let's be real.
None.
I'm trying to go to the bathroom, fill up the gas tank, and drive 3.5 straight hours until we're home.
We'll have to talk about this more tomorrow. I don't know what the approximate ETA of us getting back from the game tomorrow night is. Like, I don't know if that's a 2:30, 3 a.m. thing. And then I gotta
depends on how quick the baseball game is.
At that point, just come straight to work, I feel like.
If
or
it's
do you try to get 2 hours of sleep? I don't know.
I'll probably try to get sleep when we got back when we took a red eye back from the Super Bowl after the Chiefs won. And I got home at like 2 that day, and I took a little power nap.
Someone says you can't have an open container in the car. As a passenger in Missouri, is that a law that just changed?
I'm pretty sure
Did that just change? Because you have for the past 30 years.
Pretty sure in Missouri. Yeah. Look, I'm not telling you. Make your own decisions in life, typically speaking. Look up the laws relevant to your state. I was always told that. Maybe that's like an urban myth in Missouri. I was always told that. I thought,
here you go.
As a passenger,
in Missouri, there's no statewide open container law. Drivers are prohibited. Passengers, however, who are of legal drinking age can consume alcohol in a vehicle.
So, there you go.
I don't know. Yeah. Missouri law does not prohibit passengers of a vehicle from carry. So I don't know what that person think we're driving to a different state. I don't know.
Somebody said, remember when your wife said yes to this? The woman you neglect on Mother's Day.
That's true.
I did not this year. We went to California. I got her presents. I took care of. Maybe I should just say, hey, I need nothing for Father's Day in exchange for having to go. Paul, so this is like a work thing. I truthfully wouldn't be going if it wasn't for work.
Someone 913-586-7965 says, does Cody sing his songs only while driving? That's not allowed.
Could you imagine if I just made you listen?
I'd be driving separate. I would be driving separate.
I'd have 3.5 hours worth of work. We'd have to repeat them after a while.
I would be driving separate. If you told me Cody was just playing his songs over and over, I mean, honestly, I would. Oh, my gosh.
I will say, I will play songs over and over in the car when I'm trying to learn a song to do one.
Okay.
So, I do have a song in mind for Kags, but now because of when we're leaving for this trip, bit of a time crunch.
Yeah.
Not totally sure I can get it done. I am absolutely going to attempt, but a time crunch might make this a Wednesday song somehow.
Yeah, I mean, if someone just wants to fund it, I'll just do road trips every weekend. I'm kind of digging this. It's been this way for the last...
in Omaha and now in St. Louis.
I'll just do it every weekend, If I didn't have a dog, let's just do it every weekend. Just like they're in Chicago this weekend, so why not? Let's just drive to Chicago too while we're at it. We'll just keep it going. No big deal.
I mean, that one, maybe just like a 1 hour flight,
Yeah, I looked at flights, by the way, last night. I was like,
to St. Louis? Or
do you know how much they were trying to charge last minute to drive or to fly to St. Louis? You have a guess? $800.
Excuse me?
Yeah, it's crazy. Then someone was like, why don't you just take an Amtrak? Well, one, that was only $50, but the problem with the Amtrak is...
$800 to St. Louis? I think I could take a limo to St. Louis.
Yeah,
I might be able to rent a private plane.
The problem is the Amtrak. We would have to miss the show, so we're driving tonight. If you could guarantee us signal on the Amtrak, that'd be a funny show. The entire show is just on a train in the middle of Missouri the entire time. That would be
fun. I still can't believe I can't get over the fact that you said it was $800 to fly to St. Louis.
I did not look it up. Somebody texted me that last night. In fairness,
all right.
So I don't know, but we're driving. We're not flying.
Departing. I'm just going. Really?
Still open to private. Right? Still open to private jet.
Yeah.
If you guys have access to that, we will gladly take a seat or two. Yeah.
If you have a private jet,
specifically a private jet that leaves St. Louis after the game tomorrow, that would be really nice.
Yeah. Just
Sorry, Cody, you're gonna have to drive back.
God, that would suck. Somebody offers just one of us a private jet seat. Oh, it'd be brutal. I wouldn't blame you. I mean, you definitely should take that place.
Someone said the Amtrak to St. Louis is longer than it takes to drive there. Yeah, I believe it. They stop in all those small towns and stuff. Yeah, I believe that.
I'll tell you what, it really is.
The airfare is insane.
It's the price getting out there today that they're trying to get you on. The price back is not bad, but the price there.
It's a Monday, last minute.
Yeah, they're proud of those prices.
It's because they know who's in town.
Proud of those prices.
It's because they know who's in town.
Yeah, Southwest is changing their flights for Kags.
Someone says you got 3.5 hours to write a duet and perform it live on the air on
that
Tuesday.
Would be great.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man, boy, you'd hate that song by the end of that road trip, man.
Oh yes, I would. All right, tomorrow we'll talk expectations statistically and everything for Kags. Yeah. But the Rookie of the Year market is now going to be really fun to watch. Last year, we had the luxury of looking at the MVP market all year because Bobby was right there with Aaron Judge.
Yeah, it was neck and neck.
This year, the MVP market, it's Aaron Judge. The Rookie of the Year market is led by Jacob Wilson of the A's. He's having a heck of a rookie season. He's hitting .350. He also was up immediately. He was on the opening day roster for the A's. And so he has an edge. He's minus 400, depending on the book, to win it. Kags getting called up tomorrow for the game gives him at least a shot. I still think a lot has to go right. If he would have been 3 weeks from now, to me, it would have been 0% because you just would have missed too many games. You can't make it up. He's got a shot because it's still the 1st of June and only 2 months of baseball or so have been played. But he's got to catch the headlines, and he's got the ability maybe to do it. But from a Rookie of the Year perspective, it's got to be impressive with the home runs. It's got to be the big moments. You know, next week there's 2 games on national TV against the Yankees. You do it on that stage. That
you go
kind
toe
of stuff.
for toe against Aaron Judge
because it's
in
not
a big time moment like Shohei and him did last weekend.
Yeah, because it's not just that Jacob Wilson is got 2 weeks or 2 months on him. It's that he's playing really well. Kags was 40-1 to win Rookie of the Year 24 hours ago. He's now, depending on the book, 15-1 or 9-1. Someone sent us a screenshot earlier on Twitter that in March bet Kags to win Rookie of the Year, Cody, 50-1. They bet $500 to win, what is that, $25,000.
Oh, man. I mean, look, I hope you win it. It's obviously good for everyone, but it's a long shot for a reason. There's a reason why it's still 9-1, 10-1, even though the guy hasn't stepped foot on the field, and that's because the narrative can shift fast. Because he hits 4 home runs this week, Gold. One's a walk-off, or or he hits one against the Yankees off of Aaron Judge, or not off Aaron Judge, but like after he hits whatever. The narrative can swing very quickly. He's up against Jacob. The problem with Jacob Wilson, there's plenty of years where a Rookie of the Year in the American League is some dude who nobody. And I'll say this: playing for the Athletics helps Jack because Jacob Wilson doesn't play for a big-time team. Not saying that Jack Kaggleon does, but like the Royals are a better team than the Athletics and have more cachet. He's a Yankee, probably a different story or whatever. But Jacob Wilson is not just hitting 270 with, he's going to finish the season with 17 homers and 60 RBI. Because there's a lot of Rookie of the Year years, Gold, that in that way. He's hitting 350. People are going to pay attention to that. So unless he takes a sizable drop-off, it's going to be hard for Jack unless he just hits a bunch of homers.
It's possible. I just think it's definitely a long shot. Our boss had a 40-1 ticket. Feel good about it now that it's 9-1 or whatever that you have a 41 ticket. You still are playing catch up.
Yeah, by a lot. I mean, he's still what do you say? Is minus what? Jacob Wilson?
350 to 400.
Okay, so he's a heavy favorite, but it's not like completely runaway yet.
So it'll be fun to watch, and the odds. There's a good chance the odds shrink. I mean, if he gets off to a good start, you'll see the gap narrow. But it's just you don't want anybody to get hurt, right? But it might take Jacob Wilson missing games for him to get it done. For the Royals' sake, if he wins it, you get a draft pick. If you finish in the top 3, I think you get an international pick. And
you'll still have all the chance for him to finish in the top 3 of MVP to get other picks, like Bobby Witt Jr. did.
Yeah, next year.
And that all comes relative to this, like, they were trying not to have you hold top prospects back. And what's funny about this is this has nothing to do with that. Like, the initial calling up of Kags was just because they need him. They need offense, and he was showing in Double and AAA that he was capable of doing that. I will say, his 15 home runs and the number of games he played in minor league baseball is essentially equivalent to a 50 home run season, Gold. So if he can continue that pace, he'd be looking at 35 homers the rest of the way. I don't know if he's actually going to hit 35 homers the rest of the way. That seems unlikely, but not impossible at this point. And if he does that, then it won't really matter what his average is, and it won't matter what Jacob Wilson's is. If he hits 30 to 35 home runs, he will win Rookie of the Year. It was a good bet.
Say that.
Said if he hits 30 to 35 homers, he will win it. I'm just saying then it won't matter what Jacob Wilson does. He won't need him to drop off. It'll just make do.
Yes. If
Pete Alonso hit 50 his rookie year, didn't he?
If Kags hits 30 right away, then it's just, I mean, then we are
done that.
Yeah, then we are talking
Bruce
about
Balboni,
I mean, if that happens,
Salvi,
then we're talking about
4.
If that happens, then we are talking about next year him winning MVP. Okay. That's if he did that his rookie season.
What is the most home runs for a rookie ever?
Oh, that's a great
Judge?
question.
Because Judge, it's him or Alonso. It's got to be. Because Judge and Alonso both hit like a ton their rookie year. I got it. Pete Alonso, 53 home runs.
But he played all year.
No, that's why I said 35, not 53. I'm not crazy.
Yeah.
I said if. I didn't say he
Who's the
will.
leader in home runs right now? How many did
Raleigh?
Judge have?
No, Judge probably.
Judge or Otani or somebody.
Because if they have 20, then you just subtract that from the 53, and then that's
Alonso hit 53 in 2019. Judge in his rookie year, 52 in 2017. Mark McGwire hit 49 in 87. Cody Bellinger hit 39 in 2017. Frank Robinson in 1956 hit 38.
13 players ever who have hit 35 home runs or more in their rookie season. I'm going to guess most of those guys played more than 102 games. They all did, by the way. They all played 140 or more.
Let's come on now.
I would take 20.
Someone says, do you know if this means he'll get a rookie card in one of the Topps releases this year? I believe there's a chance someone said Topps update maybe later in like October, September. And it could have the rookie patch in it. So, yeah, if you thought his card market was great before, and if you were to have success instantly in the big leagues, it would be that much better.
So you're not setting the over-under at 30.5, 29.5 for Kags, huh?
No, if we're being realistic, I actually would set the number at like 16.5, and I bet you I wouldn't find a single person on the text line that wouldn't take the over.
No, not in Kansas City.
In Kansas City,
you might nationally find some
not in
people
Kansas
that
City,
take that, but you certainly wouldn't find anybody in this market saying that. No, it seems pretty unlikely, I would say, that be the case. But I'm still looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah, man. This is fun. Everybody should be fired up. We should be excited just for this moment. And
30, now the world's anything's possible.
Well, just wait. If somehow he were to hit a home run in his debut, you think the expectations next Tuesday, like that's what's fun. No matter what, next Tuesday is going to be special at the K. But if he were to have a good road trip in his first 5 games in the big leagues and continue the run that he's had through the minors, and he did that somehow against St. Louis, and then I think the White Sox this weekend. That's a nice landing spot for him. Yeah. White Sox this weekend. Then on Tuesday, it will just be even more insane. Just nuts at Kauffman if he comes off a road trip where he hits a home run and hits a nice average or something like that.
Just wait for what Tuesday will be if he does that. I will say the Jack Kaggleon era is just getting ready to start, so we're all excited about that. The end of an era took place over the weekend as we got the final conclusion of the Pacers heading to the NBA Finals against the Thunder. TNT, Ernie, Shaq, we know the whole crew by now. They've obviously had an incredible run, and it's largely considered, I would say, the best studio show on the planet.
Yeah.
Ernie Johnson did the sign off for this. And I'll be honest, it did feel like a moment of like a passing of the era of this, even though the show's gonna continue, but we can talk about our concerns over that in a minute. This is what Ernie said at the end of the TNT sign-off.
So I'm grateful for that, and also grateful that we have members of our crew who are gonna go work at NBC or work at Amazon, and you know how they got those jobs? Because their resume says NBA on TNT. So thank you. We have been honored to do this. And we look forward. The 4 of us, as you've already heard, the 4 of us are going to be together. Our production crew is going to be together. It's going to be that same bunch. We're still going to be shooting that show in Atlanta. It's just going to air somewhere else. And so the craziness that you've seen, the nonsense and the foolishness and the top-notch basketball analysis, all of that stuff's going to be on. It's going to be on ESPN or ABC next year, not on TNT.
And so, I guess that's what it comes down to. It's an incredible show. It's worked so well. It's got a truly unique personality. I am terrified ESPN is going to ruin it.
Well,
I don't know.
Everybody is.
I think even Ernie is like, you can hear Ernie say, it's going to be on ESPN. Like, oh, God. I don't need it inundated with the barking sports content that exists sometimes on that platform and has really taken over some of the sports media space. I don't need Pat McAfee kicking in a Kool-Aid Man costume being like, NBA on TNT, baby. I don't need it. I don't need it. That show works as it is. Isn't everyone a little afraid?
I'm glad they're having
Go ahead, Drew.
The fact that they're doing the production crew as well it's not. Yeah. No offense to ESPN, but it's not like ESPN is running the show. They're doing everything with the collective space of everybody who has been doing it, which is a good thing at least.
I think production-wise, it's going to be the same. The question is going to be, does Stephen A. Smith and other personalities start to integrate themselves into the show, and does that throw it off and ruin it? I think that's a fair concern. I still think the move, as big of a deal as it is, we also have to remember, it's not like Ernie Johnson and Shaq and Chuck and Kenny Smith were going to do this for another 10 years anyway. So to me, we're talking about, can it be the same for another 2 to 4 years? Because after that, there's a good chance some of those guys are retiring from broadcasting. Eventually there will be another iteration of that show. It'll never be as good. But I think there's a chance that you can still have a couple more years. But for those that are upset that they're going to ESPN, the show itself, the NBA season is not ending. Like the way people are, it's an NBA, it's won plenty of awards, but like it's not like the NBA is going away for 5 years and never coming back. I mean, it is a show we all love, but like let's also, pump the brakes a little bit with what they're having the exact same people, and the NBA product is not changing next season.
No, and yes, and so for next year, I think just as long as they try to keep it true to its form a little bit, there'll be no downslide. But someone's like, maybe it'll be more commercials and shorter segments.
Bill Simmons' concern.
And my problem is that I've
commercials.
Never,
I could see that.
In my time in being on any kind of media side, I have never this has nothing to do with media. This just has to do with workplaces and bosses. I have never in my life been in a workplace in which management or your manager or you change station and that person didn't think they could make something better and force you to change a thing about it. And not all the time. Sometimes those things do work. But a lot of times it's just because you're like, well, it's ours now, so we should make it ours and let's change stuff. And in this case, that show needs no adjustment. It is great in its current form. Let it live. Let the people who handle the show and the creative on that show continue to handle it and just take this already prepackaged property that works great and just keep it.
There's a reason why.
I don't know what's going to happen, Gold, but just please keep it.
There's a reason why their show's coming, essentially, as Shaq was saying multiple times, to take over your network because they're better than anything that you've got. I'm excited for it. I'm glad that they get to still be around. But like you said, Cody, I think there is some nervousness just that they're going to switch up something, or the breaks are going to be different, or they're going to try to.
I mean, the commercial break thing is just kind of like.
It is what it is. I think, but them. I think to your point, Gold. Them interjecting Stephen A. or in particular Kendrick Perkins, who Charles Barkley has bashed multiple times on national television.
I can create some fun TV.
I will say it would be interesting.
I do like beef.
It would be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they
fingers crossed
keep the spirit,
All right, up next, we will get to what's trending here on Cody and Gold. We'll talk a bit more about the Royals' bigger picture away from Kags for a second with what happened over the weekend against the Tigers. And Drew did get people fired up with a tweet. I promise you we will get to that one final time next.
This is Cody and Gold.
You will not decorate my balls, period. I will decorate my balls.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5, The Fan.
Hi, Mia here at the winnings desk of the Missouri Lottery. So, I wanted to write a thank you note for every dollar Missouri Lottery players have given to Missouri and education, but that would be 8.4 billion notes. So to save a little time and a whole lot of paper, here's just one. Dear every single lottery player in Missouri, thank you for helping us give $8.4 billion to Missouri and education. Sorry, my trumpet's in the shop. The Missouri Lottery. Winners welcome and play responsibly.
Men, here's the truth. In the bedroom, good enough isn't really good enough, is it? This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if your erectile dysfunction is making intimacy less enjoyable for you and your partner, give us a call today. Because whether your ED only happens sometimes or all the time, it's time to stop good enough and time to start really good. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. Whether it's only mild or moderate, or even if it's severe, our treatments have success rates of well over 90%. And because we have a variety of treatments and can even combine protocols, we can likely get you performing like you haven't in a long time. You could even last up to an hour or more and make sex great again for you and your partner. So make an appointment and be done with good enough. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices to serve you.
Honey, in case you can't tell from the recliner, summer is here, and our house desperately needs the experts at Powell Exteriors KC for siding, windows, entry doors, beautiful decks, patio covers, roofs, and more. Get ready for the heat at powellkc.com.
Getting engaged? At Shane Company, we'll help you find the perfect diamond. This is your engagement ring, aka only your life's most important piece of jewelry. No need to worry. As gemstone experts since 1929, we handpick only the most beautiful natural and lab-grown diamonds cut to our high standards in every price range. We have diamonds in all shapes and sizes, ready to compare side by side right here in our store. Come see for yourself at shaneco.com or at your local store. No appointment necessary. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
The NBA season is coming to a close, and FanDuel is the best place to find all your favorite player props for the NBA Finals starting up this week. And now you can make the smarter play with new performance trends. If you want to check a player's consistency throughout these playoffs, or maybe they've been flirting with that potential triple-double, well, you can get the latest stats right there inside the app, and you can see who's heating up. And after the tip-off, you can combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. So if you don't already have FanDuel, you can still get in on the NBA action. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to join today. Make every moment more this NBA Finals with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued. Non-withdrawable bonus bet. Retired 7 days and receipt returns supply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas. Under agreement, Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem. Get up with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Call Aspen Lawn and Pest Control. Our iconic blue trucks and expert team get it right the first time. Award-winning full-service lawn care and pest control since 1985. Call today for a free estimate. Visit aspenlawn.com.
Allstate knows your home means everything to you, and you'll do anything to protect it. But not just with any protection. You want insurance that'll be there for you and your family when you need it most. And that's what Allstate's been doing for over 60 years. So check Allstate first for home insurance you can rely on. You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Coverage subject to terms, qualifications, and availability. Allstate Vehicle and Property Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Huge news. Right now at Wendy's, you can get a Son of Baconator for just $3. I don't think you understand this situation. The Son of Baconator is only $3 for a limited time. You know, smoked bacon, rich melted cheese. That Son of Baconator is only $3. Thank you to whoever wished upon that star. For bacon that just won't quit, gotta be Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii, not valid on a combo or in third-party delivery platforms.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/score. That's ethos.com/score.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
What's trending here on Cody and Gold is presented by our friends over at Baker University, where graduates earn higher salaries and land jobs faster than any other university in Kansas. Apply today at bakeru.edu. News of the day, of course. I guess you, at this point, be living under a rock, but Jack Kaggleon...
Certainly won't listen to this show for the last 3.5 hours.
Jack Kaggleon has been called up from AAA Omaha. He will make his debut tomorrow. As Joe Goldberg joked, we don't know where in the lineup. We don't know where he's playing. Maybe they ease him in and DH him instead of playing him in the corner. But
somebody's like, hey, am I safe to go out there? I'm like,
yes,
I didn't call him up to bench him.
He's playing, and he will be in the lineup tomorrow. We don't know where he's playing and all that, but... awesome news, of course, because this is a guy that fans have been talking about and excited about ever since he was drafted last July. And you look at the corresponding move, yes, Darren Blanco had to be sent down to AAA. We'll see what the 40-man roster move is tomorrow. But they're ready to roll. It'll be Mike Lorenzen, by the way, on the mound tomorrow, if you're just wondering everything in the setup for that. We'll talk more about the Cardinals and everything. We'll be in St. Louis tomorrow for the game.
Show's going out. Why not?
Doing the show tomorrow from St. Louis.
It feels pretty weird if you went to Omaha and to Springfield and then didn't make the drive to St. Louis. Look, if it was in L.A., this show would not be there. It's in St. Louis. It's drivable. Alex and I are going to carpool down there after the show today. Should be a good time out there at Busch Stadium tomorrow. Next up on What's Trending, the Detroit Lions center Frank Ragnow, a 4-time Pro Bowl honoree and 7 NFL seasons, announced his retirement on social media earlier today. Quote, the past couple of months have been very trying as I come to the realization my football journey is ending and I'm officially retiring from the NFL. I have to listen to my body. One of the toughest and hardest decisions of my life. The Lions organization has been absolutely incredible throughout the process. So, big hit to the Detroit Lions offensive line. They did not draft a center in this most recent draft period. There were some thoughts that they were going through some contract stuff, at least on that end. I don't know if that factored into the decision-making in any way, but their starting center from the last 7 years retiring from the NFL.
That was definitely surprising.
Out of nowhere.
Definitely. Yeah. That's a big deal. That's more of a, like, if you were in Detroit today, you'd be talking about, oh my gosh, how concerned should you be? You lost Ben Johnson, you lost Aaron Glenn, and now you're losing your starting center. That's significant. It'll be interesting to see what that offense looks like. Elsewhere in What's Trending, of course, the NBA Finals coming up a little bit later on this week. We now have that completely set. We know it's going to be Drew's Pacers against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder, significant favorites heading into a finals series, but this should be really fun on Thursday. Maybe we'll have to make a wager with Drew or something at some point. He's the biggest Pacers fan I know, the only Pacers fan I know.
I'm not even sure he knew he was a Pacers fan 2 weeks ago. You know? I'm not
relax,
even sure he
man.
remembers.
I mean, that
I didn't
makes
even hear him
sense.
mention the Pacers in the first round. It was like conference finals.
Well, in fairness, they need to they need to do something, you know. And the Pacers they're getting, this is the best, the most buzz they've had since they went to the finals in 2000. A lot of people kind of forget about the Pacers, you know.
Lastly, on What's Trending, Carrington Harrison has been named Employee of the Month at Odyssey.
Kind of, basically.
And I think that it's important. They don't call it that. I think that's important to mention.
Hold on.
I think that's important to mention on this show.
He didn't even know
that Carrington has been honored by Odyssey Incorporated.
Here it is.
For being, can you tell me the exact title?
Is it? Hold on. Is that right? Hold on. Did I delete it?
All-Star?
Overachiever of the month? I'm not even
Achiever,
kidding.
not overachiever. Achiever of the month. Not overachiever.
Oh,
Relax.
Achiever of the month. Achiever of the month.
Achiever of the month. Said for boosting the company morale around the office. So that's lastly here on What's Trending. You ever gotten an award from any of your companies? You ever been named Employee of the Month?
Something, yes.
I've never been named any of that.
Something.
Surprisingly, you know?
Yeah, something at you can tell really meant a lot to me.
Place like Best Buy or something?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, I mean, it was many, many years ago.
When I was working at the concession stand back like at AJ Wilson, we were talking about. I worked at what they called the Shack, and it was at the time I worked there, it was a one-person booth. It was just there weren't multiple people. It was just one person working in like a shack. And I hung up, and the boss got super mad at it. I hung up one time after like 3 months of working there by myself, an Employee of the Month thing that had my name on it. He's like, who the hell put this up here? I'm like, I got to say, I'm working like 5 days a week. I am Employee of the Month.
It did also say in the email for Carrington, he can park in the special parking spot if you want.
We have an all-star parking spot out in front of the building, primo location. Dana Park. I think Dana Wright parks there pretty much every day anyway. But you can.
She just chooses to park there no matter what.
Yeah, I think so. So, look, she's the least of my concern in the parking department. These two people on the side of the building, I still can't explain what they're doing. It's crazy.
We've got over this. We were sent an email 3 years ago not to park on the side of the building. So guess who parks on the side of the building every single day? Cody Tapp.
Mm-hmm. They haven't sent any follow-up emails on that. I don't like being lumped in with the two terrible parkers over on that side of the building.
Yeah.
There's a few of us that park there. But two of them that are really bad.
Someone on the text line, because I was mentioning the lineup and stuff. Maybe we can do this tomorrow on the show. But it is interesting. Like, do you think they should DH him at first? We can have a deeper convo tomorrow.
Right. He's going to have to play in right, so I don't really care if it's DH in the first game. If they want it to be, it's fine. But
there's two thoughts. Right. Like two thoughts. One is, hey, ease him in, let him focus on hitting night one. There's a lot going on in his mind, I'm sure. The other part is, hey, get it out of the way. Get his first game out of the way in right field or left field and be done with it. That's kind of where I'm at. But
he's going to have to do both eventually anyway, and you've called him up early enough to suggest that he's ready for this moment. So As far as I'm concerned, hit him 5th or 6th and let him play right.
Yeah, so
That's where he's going to get a majority of his innings.
We'll get into that maybe a little bit more tomorrow. I know Vern was on with the morning show today and was asked about just where, Kags could hit in the lineup. This is what he expects.
Sandwich him between Vinny and Sal and let him kind of get his cuts in the league that way?
I don't know if I want to go left with Vinny and Kags.
Right.
I think Kags might end up in the 5 spot. The thing that I want to see Michael Garcia get on the other side of those big fellas.
Mm-hmm.
With Kags, Salvi, and Vinny, there's not going to be very much action on the base paths. So you either want to clump those 3 together and acknowledge we ain't doing nothing when these guys are on the base paths. And if you do that, Michael needs to get up there with Bobby so him and those 2 can get a little action going at the top of the lineup. So, the India, Bobby, Vinny, Michael, Kags, Salvi, that's how I'd throw it out there. So Kags in the 5 spot, Michael moves up to the 3. That's what I would do.
If they move Michael, then he's batting 5th. Otherwise, I think he's 6th. It's 5th or 6th. It's just whether or not I think Michael moves to make the 5th spot happen.
But if you move Michael, I guess the question is do you move him up to 1st and then because here's the thing. If Michael is all of a sudden your leadoff hitter, then I think Jonathan Indy makes way more sense at 6. And Kags hits 5th and you move it on. If you're going to try to keep Indy in the leadoff spot, that's when I'd make the argument as he breaks into the big leagues. I don't want Michael, a guy who has been hitting really well this entire time, further than 5th. So I'd asked earlier in the show, are they willing to kind of make a couple of adjustments to the way they're hitting these guys? Look, I can't ignore this weekend. They just finished playing a Saturday and Sunday series, and they played 3 games. They lost 2 out of 3 against Detroit. It's not the end of the world, but certainly wanted to win 2 of 3 instead. Saturday and Sunday, they played back-to-back 1-0 games. So, look, if the Royals had won the 1-0 on Sunday, I'd have come in on the show and been like, hey, I'm not going to hear they won the series. They're like, they didn't score. I'm like, well, they scored more than Detroit. Would have probably been my argument and my attitude coming into today, because someone in Detroit is having a complaint about how they only got 2 runs in a 2-game series and only got a single win, only gave up 2 runs in 2 days on Saturday and Sunday and only got 1 win. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but a lot of this comes back to the same thing. You and I both know that if they had a league average offense, they would probably be 10 games above 500 at this point. They don't. They have one of the league's worst offenses, which is why they're 2 games above 500 and why they need more of these players to come around at the same time together. Michael had a great month. Waters had a great month. Isbell had a good month. Vinny had a great month. So they had guys who had good months, but
you
it
still
didn't all
have
come
obviously
together still.
Yeah, and then you obviously haven't got what you need from Salvi or India. Bobby's going to be fine, but the last month, if you look at his numbers the last month, they are not anywhere near what he has been. So that is how you end up having the offense that the Royals have currently. And Kaggleon hopefully can help this. I don't think you can ask him to go and save the offense, but can he help assist with that? Can he provide you something different, as in pop? Can somebody hit a home run? There's been various numbers that have been thrown out in the last 24 hours about just, putting in perspective even more how bad the power numbers have been. The 9-50 Colorado Rockies, let me say it again, the 9-50 Colorado Rockies have 16 more home runs than the Royals do at this point in time as a team.
And they have the worst 60-game start in Major League Baseball. They're 9-50. They are horrid. Horrid. And look, they can't pitch. And we all know this is not news anyway. The reason why the Royals are still firmly in the mix and don't have to panic and can take their time and all this other stuff is because they arguably, and this depends on how quickly Ursack comes back and Reagans and Lugo and how they look in their returns, but you can make an argument that in totality, they got the single best pitching staff in all of Major League Baseball.
Are you guys going to put some money on Kags to hit a run? Somebody asked.
Almost assuredly.
So somebody asked what the odds are of him hitting in his first at bat. They don't have that, but on FanDuel right now, for tomorrow, they got plus 450 on FanDuel.
Just for a home run.
That's for a home run. What's for a first at bat home run? Probably
that's
10
not
or 12 to 1?
right now.
They don't know where he's at on the lineup yet and stuff. So I will say this, though. We are driving to St. Louis, as we said. So if we are going to make a bet for that, we will have to drive to Illinois. Reminder, Missouri sports betting is obviously not legal yet. So we will have to drive to Illinois if you must make that bet tomorrow.
I just had to bet him to hit a home run before we leave office
that
today.
Also works, too.
Before you leave the house later tonight, Gold, before we drive out to St. Louis, just a quick little wager. Kag to hit a homer. I mean, you're 2 for 2 you're 2 for 2 in the first game. You're 2 for 3 technically in games.
I've gone to 3 Jack Kaggleon games, and he has
homered in 2
of them. Yep.
Might as well make it 3 out of 4.
3 would be nice.
Are you going to go next week? You think you'll be there again on Tuesday?
Yes, I have tickets for Tuesday.
Nice, okay.
Yeah, we're all in, man. We're all in at this point in time. Might as well be.
I just like the idea that you have watched Kags in 4 different cities in a 5-week time period.
That is
once a week. Impressive. Once a week, you are going to watch Jack Kaggleon in a different city,
Was
roughly
not planned
on average.
A month ago, if you would have told me.
The only one that was planned was Springfield.
That was it. Yeah.
And then it was so much fun. You're like, I'll make it Omaha.
Yeah, I'm glad
And then
Dusty
it's
and I
so
went
close.
to
We're like,
Omaha.
let's go to St. Louis.
We got to Omaha just in time. I mean, seriously, got called up the day after.
Yeah, made it by all of
Someone
24
says,
hours.
White Castle in the VW. Let's go.
Jeez.
Somebody trying to catch a ride? Is that what it is?
Yeah, look, I
Someone trying to catch a ride with
won't.
me and you?
I won't eat White Castle in your car. Your
appreciate
car would smell pretty bad on the drive back. You know, my guess is we will end up having to get some food on the drive back Tuesday night because it's going to be midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., whatever.
Coffee for sure. I'm going to want a coffee.
Yeah.
I'm going to want
This-
that like
this
right
is
as
the
we hit
one
the road
exception.
coffee, 10 p.m.
You know this. I don't
Energy
do
drink.
I don't do energy drinks. I told you the one exception for energy drinks: road trips. So tomorrow night,
Okay.
not on the way tonight, but tomorrow night, absolutely road. I'll have to have energy drink to start the show on Wednesday too. I'm sure.
You got to make exceptions for the
Yes.
times that we're in those spots. Like when we took the red eye back after the Chiefs Super Bowl win. As a reminder, for all the people, and this is like a quick one. I've seen a lot of people on social media and on the text line saying that they don't want Alex and I anywhere near people. I believe it's because of MacArthur's 9th Infantry.
Who's saying that? Who's saying that?
I believe that people think that we are a jinx as it relates to the one time we had shirts printed up for our guy, James MacArthur, who unfortunately did not have a good end of the season and is now since in the middle of a rehab stint trying to get himself all healed up to hopefully he can join the bullpen again one day. I want to point out that we once went on a road trip to go watch Bobby Witt Jr. It did not seem to slow down his progression. I'm not saying we're responsible. I'm just saying we're not bad luck as it relates to players' gold.
I think you bucked that whole trend by how Jack Kaggleon has played.
A couple things, yeah. Kaggleon also, this show has gone to 3 Super Bowls. They've won all 3.
Yeah, we are 3 for 3 in Super Bowls.
3 for 3 in Super Bowls. So no, we're good. I think we're fine at this point in time.
Someone said you guys were unhonorably discharged with that.
Dishonorably? You're giving us a dishonorable discharge?
Unhonorable, but which I guess is the same thing.
I'm just surprised after things we've said. St. Louis, the fact that this is all starting in St. Louis is just funny on a personal note. I'll just say that. That's just funny.
Up against the Cardinals.
Yeah, up against the Cardinals. I was telling you off air a story about a buddy of mine that's a diehard St. Louis fan, and him and I give him a ton of crap about St. Louis. He got mad about some comments I made about the Blues losing in the Stanley Cup not too long ago, and then now here we are in St. Louis.
You see this joke about St. Louis? You guys will be fine to get home.
Oh, St. Louis is an interesting place. St. Louis is an interesting place.
When's the last time you've been to Busch? It's been a long
I
time
haven't
for
been,
me.
so I never made it to
Decade plus?
I never
15
made it
years plus?
to original Busch Stadium. I haven't been to probably Busch Stadium since 2010. It's been a long time. I haven't been inside the city of St. Louis since 2015, 2016.
I went to St. Louis last year for my daughter's dance comp.
Right. That's right. Again, if we were
Made
there
that drive in the
longer, I
last
would
12
go.
months.
I'd go to the Hill and get some good Italian food. But we're not going to be there long. This is going to be a very quick in and out type of trip.
No, we're going to
Without
drive
in and
down
out,
there,
yeah.
sleep. Then we're going to do our show, go cover Jack Kaggleon in a press box, sit in the stands for a fan as a little bit, and then drive home.
Yeah, update on that tomorrow.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun trip. 2 road trips for us in the last. We've had now, and you're not riding with Dusty this time. You've ridden with Dusty and now me.
Mm-hmm.
How was Dusty on the road trip driving? Is he a cruise control guy?
Yeah, of course, cruise control guy. We had a great time. I'm sure Dusty would attest. It was a great weekend. Good time. Really enjoyed Omaha. Honestly, Omaha was a ton of fun. Not
you like
just
it
the
better
game,
than
but
Springfield as a city?
I do. Yeah, I do. Sorry, Springfield. Omaha was
listening? Like the city council of Springfield
yes,
is listening?
yes. So, yeah, no, Omaha was a ton of fun. Appreciate the recommendations from some of you. They gave us some good spots. Good live music spot we found on Friday night. Awesome. And then Saturday was interesting. We went to a different live music spot, and we didn't stay at that spot as long because it was Cajun style music. You couldn't understand a word they were saying. It was like,
really thick, like Creole?
Oh, dude, you couldn't understand a word they were saying. So that night we went to a different music spot for that because literally you couldn't. I'm not saying they weren't good, but there's no way you could.
Was the music part entertaining though? You know.
Yes, but just I'm not going to mimic it on air. But like I could.
Seems like you're running into a dicey.
Yeah, but
situation you don't want to have
I would
done.
say though there's no way you understood what they said.
Does it sound like the coach from the Water Boy?
It is Ed Orgeron. Ed Orgeron. On steroids and not understanding anything while singing.
You know the coach I'm talking about in the Water Boy.
Of course.
I just assume it's like that, but singing.
Yes.
If you say like thick Creole accent, that's just kind of where like my assumption is.
You would appreciate one of the most impressive bartenders, though. So
Flair bartending?
So, no, not in that regard.
Oh,
but
okay.
so
'Cause
on
that's- I don't know how
Friday
he does
night,
that.
Dusty and I went to there's a tavern down the street from the hotel, and this was the night where they had really good live music. And we weren't there that long. I had a couple drinks, had a tab open, so did Dusty. We left, whatever. We come back Saturday night to the same spot. Okay. We walk in, and the night before the place was packed. We walk in, go to the bar, and the guy's like, "Hey, Alex, what do you want to drink?" He goes, "Hey, what about you, Dusty?" I'm not even kidding. And we're like, we were both
Who
spooked.
knows?
We were spooked. I think this guy is just very good with names and faces.
Like, I get it.
There's nothing that happened the night before that would have suggested he should have remembered who we were. It was bizarre. It kind of threw me for a loop. He also looked like the guy, you guys have seen Gone in 60 Seconds. You know, the brother that got in trouble?
Yeah.
The sook back hair that got in trouble?
Giovanni Ribisi? That's the actor
Is
who
it?
plays it. I don't know
Anyway,
the name
that's
of
what the bartender looked like. Not the bad guy, but the brother of Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Okay, that he's trying to save. Yeah, that guy.
All you guys had to do in the Cajun bar was say a little le béton, I'm sorry. Laissez le béton rouler. Let the good times roll.
Yeah, this
would have
was
well accepted.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway.
Louisiana kitchen.
All right. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
True.
when you say that.
We only have a couple minutes left in the show. I do it late in the
get
show
to it
because I
again?
want to make sure. I wanted to make sure that we don't derail the show. You chose violence on social media yesterday. You, for whatever reason, decided to get people riled up on June 1st about Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes. I don't know why we're even trying to compare the two still, frankly. But you did. You did.
Is it more about tearing down Patrick Mahomes or being happy, or saying Joe Burrow doesn't get respect?
Sent out a tweet.
About Joe Burrow.
You sent out a tweet that said, "I'll get criticized tomorrow, but a real thing that's discussed in KC is bad left tackle play affecting Mahomes' ability to play well." Burrow put up league-leading numbers behind the worst O-line in football in 24 and nearly won a Super Bowl with the third worst. What was the point of the tweet?
I think for people to say that left tackle play is the reason Mahomes is struggling is the same people who would say I make excuses for the Bengals. I think it's an excuse for Mahomes, the Chiefs in general, that there's not, amidst a terrible offensive line. And Matt Verderam, as a matter of fact, pointed this out post-Super Bowl after he discussed Xavier Worthy getting bombs. It's not stopping the Bengals from throwing the ball deep to their star players. Why should it stop the Kansas City Chiefs? Essentially is what he said.
I guess I would say it hasn't stopped them every year. It only stopped them the last 2 years from getting the ball deep. And one of those years, they had no good wide receivers. And in year 2, all of their good wide receivers were hurt.
And
I understand left tackle play plays a factor, but my guess is they would have thrown the ball down the field more, Drew, had they just had people to throw the ball to, which has not been the case in Cincinnati. They've had Jamar Chase.
They literally, Mahomes has had 5 different left tackles in 5 Super Bowls and won 3 of them. Mahomes had the same left tackle that Joe Burrow has had before, Orlando Brown Jr. And so that's why I just don't. And Joe Burrow is great. I told you, I think he's the 3rd best quarterback in the league. But we got to stop with this, well, Joe Burrow was able to do it. How come Mahomes can't do it? Like this, it's like it's ridiculous.
He can't do that
what are we
Mahomes
doing?
hasn't.
What are we doing?
I think that's the.
He's taken 5 different left tackles to the Super Bowl. I'm pretty sure he's fine at having mediocre to bad, left tackle.
I'm just saying it shouldn't limit. The point was mainly about that the offensive line shouldn't limit, really, in regard. It's not even necessarily. It's about the offense and the way that it looks, particularly with Mahomes.
Yeah,
obviously.
the Bengals have to get in shootouts because their defense stinks. You would agree.
But it's not about the defense.
But it has to be. The style of your offense is absolutely reflective sometimes of if you can lean on your defense more than other times. But you play to your style of a team. The Chiefs have leaned into a little bit more of what I guess we could somewhat call a conservative offense because they have a defense that is really, really good versus the Bengals. They have to win games 38-35. That's what, and they're going to have to do it again this year too.
We'll have to see. There's a lot of changes with defense. We'll see if the defense. The defense can't get much worse than what they were.
If Trey Hendrickson's not there, it can.
I would agree that they're not Super Bowl contenders. They have no chance of it if he's not on the field. I think that
he's still currently a member of the Cincinnati Bengals, but he doesn't sound super happy about it.
He technically is going to be a member all the way up until next year at this same time, or until April at this same time. It's just a matter of whether or not he's playing for him, or he's.
Yeah, it's just that we've seen, like, Patrick Mahomes has thrown for 50 touchdowns and 5,000 yards. So, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, it's not like we've never seen it from him, know, but again, and he's actually won. Like, saying
over the last 3 years, they've been putting up the same statistical numbers on aggregate. So,
again,
like, they've both been playing with troubled offensive lines. It hasn't stopped Mahomes any more than it stopped Joe Burrow from putting up
I just think that for the amount of people that complain that I make excuses, I think people make a lot of excuses for Patrick Mahomes in the fact of the weapons or the offensive line play, where I think you can overcome that, even bad offensive line play, if you're the Chiefs. And I think Mahomes has the talent to do so.
And he's done it.
But
I think he has overcome it, just not statistically over the last 2 years. And I think they're just taking that with the wins.
Sure, but again,
this is a fantasy football conversation.
I think that's why you can look at is Mahomes actually? I think he.
It sounds like you think that Joe Burrow might actually be better than Patrick Mahomes. That's kind of what you're saying.
I think he's as good as he is because I don't think there's anything that Patrick Mahomes does that Joe Burrow can't also do, and vice versa.
All right.
Except to win games, I guess.
I mean, again, though, heaven forbid I make something that would be considered an excuse, but, the organization and the defense.
But you made a lot of excuses for Joe Burrow.
I'll go ahead.
So are we allowed
say,
excuses or not?
I don't think so. That's why I'm not mentioning them. Otherwise,
but why'd you keep mentioning their defense and how bad it is?
I mean, you can also use an excuse to say the Chiefs are really good because of the defense and not because of Patrick Mahomes necessarily over the last.
You're right. You are right, Drew. I mean, they have 3 rings. You're right. They have 3 rings, not because of Patrick Mahomes at all. You're right.
I didn't say that.
It's Chris Jones.
That's all.
I didn't say that. All the pieces have to come together, which is why the Chiefs, again, this is why the Chiefs are the dynasty that they are, because all the pieces come together. Mahomes early on, now it's everybody included, then it's the defense. This is why they've been able to exist as long as they have, because Brady wasn't putting up the best numbers. People still consider him the best quarterback, which I think was debatable. Just because Tom won, I mean, you can say they're the best quarterback, the best winning quarterback.
I honestly think, I'm